It's Adam Post. We're doing COMICSGATE tonight. We're going to talk to some amazing COMICSGATE creators, me, but not just me, other amazing people too. A lot of these guys you know, a lot of these guys you might not yet know. We're going to have a couple of friends that are going to pop on, a couple of surprises to talk to us about their projects and talk to us a little bit about comics as well. And, me, I'm a 30-year veteran of comic book publishing and comic book stories. And I'm putting out my new book called College of the Dead. It's on Indiegogo now. It's also available through collegeofthedead.com. We'll take you right to where it's presently being sold. And we are on tonight with Cesar. And Cesar, Cesar's not always on camera. I like to be able to get Cesar on camera. So we're on you right now, Cesar.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
So good to see you, Cesar. Thanks for making time tonight to go over your book with us and to be with the guys and gals of COMICSGATE tonight.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tell us the name of your book real quick and real quick what it's about.
Yeah, so book I have out on Indiegogo right now is Chongo the Broken Veil. It's a story of love, loss, and redemption. Basically, young boy Ruben's been seeing demonic entities since the age of 6. 10 years later, he's had enough, and he goes about trying to get rid of the curse once and for all. But is it a curse or something more? We'll find out. Pick up the comic, and you'll find out for yourself.
I love it. Nice. We'll go right now. And now a lot of people know our next friend, Von Klaus.
Oh, hey. Yeah, always.
A lot of us have heard of Monster MD. Monster MD is funding. It is not complete yet. It's doing phenomenally well. We're all excited about it. And partly it's doing well because Von is a lot of fun to have around. He's been working incredibly hard, putting time in, putting energy in, letting everyone know what's going on with Monster MD, who is an actor, but also Von taking the time to help us tonight on the show, which we appreciate. And Von has also been answering questions of other publishers whenever he has time and giving suggestions and helping the rest of everybody.
Well, yeah, I want everyone to do really well. Like, this is more than just making books. This is bigger than books. This is COMICSGATE. I want us to be super successful, and I want us to make a dent in the comics industry, you guys. So
I actually have a theory about phase. We're in phase 2 now. I know what phase 3 is of COMICSGATE. I know what phase 4 is, and we'll talk about it tonight because I'm really passionate about it. I know people agree with it. It could be, could be problematic. You guys are cool, and no one's going to fight me on the show. But it's an interesting thing, and we could talk about it after we introduce everybody. So we've got Von Klaus. We've got obviously let's talk about the name of your project. Let's talk about what your project's all about real quick. Then we can talk to Wyatt. So, Von, let's just
you want to hear about my project? I thought you were moving on to the next dude.
No, even though we know who you are and what you are.
So you want to know about the book? You want me to sell my book? I can do that. Okay.
People need to know what Monster MD is all about.
Monster MD. Imagine, if you will, a young surgeon with his whole life ahead of him. Brilliant. And then he ends up getting his arm cut off by a masked madman and pushed out a window to what the masked madman thinks is his death in the street. Everything's done for this guy. But he ends up getting saved by the most unlikely of people, a monster, gives him her arm, sews it onto him, this undead arm, and then he has to use it to be a surgeon. She says, please just help others like me. And he ends up becoming the doctor to the local monsters, which is insanely dangerous and kind of hilarious. So it's both. This book is a good combination of horror and creep factor, with hilarity. And he gets a surgical assistant, an invisible woman named Heidi, who works with him. They're a hilarious duo. They have a fun back and forth. And he ends up having to save her from the very masked madman who cut off his arm in the past. And he ends up having to depend on the monsters more than ever to help him, like he's helped them. So it just is this great book, a lot of heart, a lot of fun, a lot of action, and a lot of comedy and great horrific moments. It kind of has something for everyone. People who don't even like monsters tell me, Von, this is a book I could read and enjoy. So hope you'll check it out.
I really like the description of Monster MD. So thanks. That's how you sell a book, because makes you want to buy
Yes.
it. All right.
I'm trying.
It's working. So speaking of buy it, we're jumping over to Wes. Not Wyatt. Wyatt's on another channel. Wes, I got you on COMICSGATE Live.
Yep.
So just tell us real quick the name of your project and tell us a little bit more about it.
Sure. It's called Goodland. It's an apocalyptic pulp that follows a central plot with an adware developer who's sort of a hotshot, quick, successful guy in a Mark Zuckerberg type. He basically realizes that he is being used as a weapon against humanity. Amidst all of his success, he realizes that one of his creations is being used as a weapon against humanity. So it follows him, his life unraveling his ideas to expose this, and ends up making enemies with a very dangerous global military outfit.
I always think of Mark Zuckerberg when you talk about this guy. Like, my invention is evil and like taking over the world. Like, it makes me think about him.
Yeah,
which
I
think that's really cool.
Yeah, it's sort of in the mold of a Jason Bourne storyline, sort of that Treadstone thing where, he's been groomed in a certain way, and he's sort of already been sort of a bad dude, but then when he realizes like the extent of how bad it really is, and he sort of awakens to this fact.
That's cool.
He decides to do the right thing, which ends up blowing up in his face, and
of course.
And then while all that's going on, what makes it a pulp is that on the other side of the planet, you're going to follow 12 different characters from all walks of life and see how this affects them, and the whole world just changes and slowly comes apart. It's really
wow,
awesome.
Dude. That's epic. That is epic.
Unlike Big. And he's got it. It's good because it does capture when you make a story big, if it makes sense to the story, it does capture the imagination, right?
Yeah, and there's like a Pulp Fiction element to it where all these plots are going to come together. And they're going to intertwine even though they're happening on all parts of the planet. So it's going to be really, I'm super excited about it.
Wow, dude, that's a deeper book. I like that. Is this like the biggest thing you've ever made?
Yeah. Oh yeah, by far. And I started writing this when I was like 9 years old.
So man, that's awesome. That's like the Fifth Element with Luc Besson. He made up the Fifth Element when he was a little boy. And then the movie came out so good. But like you man, you've got all the elements for a great book. It sounds to me. It sounds like your greatest work. I think that makes you put more into it than you normally would. I think that's part of what happened with my D. That's how I felt. It's like, this is the greatest thing I've made. How could I not work hard on this every damn day?
Right. Yeah. It's very close to the chest. It's just there's a lot of personal experiences in there. It's not going to have an agenda or anything like that. It's purely entertainment, but it plays with a lot of different conspiracies and things that I think have some legitimacy to them. So I kind of shine a light on some of those things and sort of make it into a fun, entertaining, comic book series.
That's cool.
Education of sorts.
This is a new show for us, this COMICSGATE Tonight. I want to do it as many nights as we can, even weekly, even daily, if we can. Definitely better than weekly because we got needles to move. But since we just got into a bit of a groove with you, Wes, and Vaughn is asking some penetrating questions, I'm curious to see what Vaughn's going to think when he sees your art. So let's spend a little more time and focus on you right now, Wes, and then I spent about an hour and a half the other night talking with my friend Cesar about Chongo, and I have a lot more to say about Chongo, and I want Vaughn to find out about Chongo too. But since we're on a roll, let's go with the momentum we got right now with Wes. Cool. And Wes, are you slick with sharing your screen?
Let me.
Campaign. I mean, I have your campaign right in front of me now, but I'll tell you what. Let me do it. Don't you stress.
Okay. Yeah.
Let me do it, and then I'm gonna. Hey, who's that handsome guy? I'm gonna show your campaign right now, and this is give us an opportunity to look at all the art. Wait until I don't think Vaughn's got a chance to see this art yet, or he would have brought it up already. Wait until Vaughn is commenting on this art and just kind of the slickness of this. It's going to make it even more fun.
Oh, I'm going to comment.
You're going to love
Oh,
Chango. You have no idea what this Chango artwork looks like. I'm looking at it like, this looks like Chango looks like Charlie Adlard is doing his best work. So
wow.
The world is changing. So a naive adware developer realizes a dark entity has been using him as a weapon against humanity. How cool is that? And then wait till you're going to like this. Do not steal his artist. I don't know who your artist is, but no stealsies. All right.
Yeah, seriously.
You already have amazing talent.
Yeah, he's from Brazil. He's really awesome. And actually, I scoured DeviantArt to find somebody that would be willing to work with me on a project like this. I had no idea at the time that there was a COMICSGATE community. So
you guys look like you're publishing this book in under the same label or something. So,
what was your COMICSGATE moment? Like, what made you go, "Oh, I'm going to take this book over here"?
Well, I was already a COMICSGATer before I knew there was a COMICSGATE, because I was like, I wasn't going to allow a mainstream publisher to touch this thing. And I made up my own, I bought my own website, designed my own website because I thought I was going to have to sell my own thing from my website. So when I was looking at how to promote this and networking with other people, that's when I realized, holy shit, there's other people doing exactly what I'm trying to do on Indiegogo. So that's, that's sort of how it came to be. That's how I discovered COMICSGATE, and just, I've been away from the comics industry for a long time. I made a book back in 2005, and I had 4 kids since then. Kind of lost touch with what was going on, but with the main publishers, I kind of already gave up on them already. So, like I said, I was already COMICSGATE before I knew it was here.
Nice.
Look at this art. Escape reality. Look at that.
I was bored, COMICSGATE. All right. Dale, this looks awesome, man. This looks cool.
Look at the personality to the buildings. You know what I mean? Like if you look at
Where's your artist from?
He's Brazilian, and he was actually, I think he was doing like Pokemon designs when I found him. So, and I was like, it would be so cool to see, because his work sort of looked like logo, like, I don't know, like sports mascot logo almost quality, because it's very bold, the lining and the inking, a lot of,
So he's done a lot.
And I thought it'd be really cool to put him in this dramatic project, and it hasn't been a disappointment, I can tell you that.
There's a guy in COMICSGATE. His name is Narwhal.
Yeah, I know who that is.
Okay, he's very minimalist.
Yeah,
and the motion is just beautiful in his work. He's really he's
an artist's artist. I would say Narwhal. He's an artist. Like he's the artist that doesn't make as much money on his campaign, but all of the pros love him and look up to his. He's an artist.
Yeah.
Passion.
Yeah. He just has a tremendous sense.
I think as he keeps going, his campaigns are just going to get bigger and bigger, and he's just going to rise. I really love him.
I think in especially come 2020, that a lot of us are going to collaborate on projects where we have ideas or we know talents available. Vaughn, you and I were talking about a really unique version of Voltron in a chat room.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, that would actually be really cool.
Yeah. Sometimes those ideas are the most fun ones.
Well, because they come from nowhere. But when you got creative, when an idea comes from nowhere, it's not coming from literally. It's coming from nowhere from a physical place, but it's coming from somewhere on a deeply spiritual, transcendent place. Yeah. Right. And that's like that has power behind it. That's kind of why I'm obsessed with high concepts, and I have to stop myself thinking of ideas.
They're easier to market, I would say. Okay, you got like an alien looking thing back here, unless that's just some woman's chest. I hope that's not a woman's chest, because
it's an alien looking.
Okay,
it shouldn't be sharing. You see Donald Trump on the screen, right? The executive.
Yeah, Trump's like approves this book.
All right.
Yeah.
All right,
rare photo out there.
That's awesome.
Okay, so Goodland. What does Goodland refer to? Obviously, it's the title of the book.
Well, this and this moment of issue 1 is like sort of the pre-collapse stage, I call it. So Goodland refers to down the line, when everything hits the fan. The main character will be on a journey searching for a livable region on the planet. But it's also based in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Part of the story is based in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So, and that actually means good land.
Let me ask you, if I can ask you a question, just because Vaughn is got it, and I didn't completely get it. So your character is somehow involved in a semi-apocalypse situation going on, like.
Right. Yeah. It's split up into like 3 different arcs. So the first arc is like the pre-collapse stage. The second arc will be the collapse stage, and then the third arc will be the post-collapse or the apocalypse. That's how I call it.
Who doesn't love an apocalypse?
But it's like I like to build it up in sequence, because one thing about apocalyptics is they always put you right in the middle of, this obscure land where everything went to hell. I want you to see it. I want you to see the progress of a collapse situation, of apocalypse situation, and experience alongside these characters, because each one of these characters is going to have to make changes to their personality, to their character, to survive the apocalypse. And I want you to be able to witness that transition, piece by piece, and really envelop you in the character development and stuff like that. So that's sort of what sets this apart from other apocalyptics.
Cesar, are you down with apocalypses too?
Yeah, there's a lot to be told there. The nice thing about it is that although you're kind of dealing with the same theme, everyone that does a story always does it different. There's like a different thing that is a post-apocalyptic, and video games are pretty good at doing that sort of thing. So yeah, man, it's pretty popular.
I'm intrigued by Wes's approach, and I imagine you must be too, Vaughn, of showing the world in fall and then in collapse.
Yeah.
Like, how do you not buy the
ambitious.
next one? How do you not buy the next one? You don't care what's going to happen in the next one when the whole world falls apart? Oh, now that the world fell apart, you don't want to see what happens to the character? Like,
right.
That's
I have a question. Is this book based on a real life fear you have of this is how the world may end?
That's interesting.
It's sort of, I'd say that it does. Yeah. I've been a part of the QAnon community. I don't know if you've heard of them. They're like,
yeah.
But it's just about.
You brought up Q. Okay. So you're concerned about, yes, there are powerful. Obviously, there are people that they keep themselves hidden in the society. And not everybody's out in public. Epstein is in trouble again.
Right.
He's in trouble for saying his name. Okay, so this is an actual concern that you have, that there are people that do start wars, and there are people that profit from it, and there are people that even if there was a nuclear war, they'd be fine.
Right. I mean, it's not that I think this is going to happen. I just think a lot of it is based in reality in my mind, as far as what I read. So
look at who's doing the letters. It's going to be good. Eric Weathers.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, Eric Weathers. my favorite letterer, the only letterer.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I'm just kidding. He's the best. He's the best. I love working with him. It's been an honor. It's been an honor. Look at this chick in the beginning. She's all like sneaking around and grabbing an axe and chopping off doorknobs like a boss, kicking in the door.
Not a sister book to Monster MD somehow. It's not published by the same editor-in-chief. Like, you see the aesthetics, like the energy, the aesthetics, the panel making, the motion.
Yeah, it would be under the same banner as Marco's company that he's worked for, Action Labs. This looks like the house style that Action Labs is going for. They're kind of got this manga meets Western, like blend that you make look really nice. Yeah, it's cool. Look at that lighting on the shoe.
Great.
Cool.
Oh, yeah.
And then he's all like very anime moment, like boom, big panel. He's got a gun to his head. Like we got a kind of a crazy situation.
I really like.
She's
these
really gone from 100% to 0, huh? Like she's like, I'm gonna kill you, and then she's like, maybe we could work it out.
Yeah.
And then he's like, no.
Wow.
Oh my God, that shot with the jaw is badass. That's what comics right there. Like that's what you get to do in comics more than anywhere else. You get to do these kind of shocking, kind of like exaggerated images that movies have been doing. Sometimes movies are able to pull them off because, you know, they've been trying to make superhero and comic book movies for a long time now. Yeah. But still, this is one of the more special moments in comics. Wow. Yeah, and then the badass walks away. Boom. That's what you get for stealing my Pokeballs, you know, or something like he's badass. He's a quintessential anime badass, which is very, very cool. Like we need more of those in our comics.
Good reason why he's putting sunglasses on. That's not just
right. Oh, that's not just me going out. Okay, that's awesome, man. That's awesome.
And
this book seems like it's, you know, what's interesting about this book is the art will make people think like, oh, it's just like a crazy actiony, you know, fun comic. Yeah. But like what's going on in it is so deep. Like this is not just an action book. This book has a lot of big social, societal implications. It deals with heavy stuff. That's pretty cool.
Thanks, Von. Yeah, I'm glad that it's been resonating with people, you know, that whole premise. So that makes me know that actually accomplished something. You know what I mean? Even if
oh, that's a cool shot.
Pain, so
yeah. Oh, I like this. I like this intro for the characters where you just see their shadows. That's cool. That's an intriguing intro, especially in comics. Like that's iconic when you like can show a person who they are by silhouette or shadow. You can. You could, you know, oh, that's Batman. You know, it's cool.
Right.
You're showing them in kind of the dark before you even reveal them. I like it.
Yeah, and the setting kind of becomes a character in and of itself. So you'll see a lot of I'll be creating that.
Crazy. And then the cops show up with their heavy gear. That's some heavy gear. And then we have some sort of chick. I don't know. Is this a chick protester like spitting into the bullhorn back at him?
Yes, that's an activist.
Oh, she needs. We need your editor to come in here, so because she needs the half of her head shaved.
Yeah, she needs pretty.
Right there. And then Right Talk 112. You're on Right Talk. Oh, he's a big arrogant disc jockey. I love it. That's a funny stereotype. And he's like all buff, but he's kind of like awkward buff. Like that's funny. He wants to believe. Yeah, he's a conspiracy theorist, huh?
Right. Yeah, he's
cool.
Yeah.
See, and because that means you visually achieved that. Like you were able to put the "I want to believe" post, the smug kind of like look on his face, and I could tell he was a conspiracy theorist radio dude. That's good visuals for your book.
Yeah, thank you.
Good.
Thank you. Tinfoil Tony. That's that.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Characters.
Yeah, like I said, they're from all walks of life, so you're getting nobody's getting left out.
Man, there's some hot chicks too. Man, I think I kind of like the activist a little bit, man. Oh no!
All right.
Oh no!
Right.
She's hot.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, she's up to no good, and I like it. Okay. And then we got lettered by Eric Letters, the man. And then we have Glauco Silva art. He's good. He's awesome.
Oh
yeah, he is. I love him.
And then we got you on writing, and then we have Gwen DLG. It doesn't look like an I. Gwen DLG.
Yeah, her name's Gwen. Yeah,
okay.
She's
Gwen on colors. Cool.
French Canadian.
There's a slew of stretch goals.
He's got a pretty good team here, man.
Yeah.
But like you, Vaughn, I actually had to reproduce this book a few times, so there's actually different versions of Goodland floating around out there that I paid stupid amounts of money for, and I also want to forget the amount.
Exactly. You know my pain. You know the pain. It's painful, man. It's painful. It makes you want to give up. Like it makes you want to give up, and then you're just like, man, I can't give up. Screw that. Huh?
You ever feel like you're so vested you can't give up? It's like that's where I'm at right now. It's
yeah. I've been writing since I was a kid, and like it's time to do something huge, man.
Right.
And I love comics for so long that I'm actually glad that film school and the film world didn't work out for me. I think that it was kind of it's at the time it feels horrible and you're kind of afraid and you don't know what's going to happen with your life. You just know you got to work your ass off, but you come back to what you love and it's not like it's work anymore. It's more, even if you're exhausted, there's a good satisfying feeling from making a book and finally publishing it after you've worked so long on it. So props to you, man. Props to you.
You beat a lot of odds to accomplish that. So
I try.
Well,
if I had to give you polish to help polish this, which already looks like a pretty solid campaign to me, and like the way you describe it is awesome. I don't know. I haven't looked at all your text yet, but I want to say I hope that your text really hits home the story in a very simplistic way so people understand what it is. Because from the visuals alone, I don't know what's going on. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I know what's going on, but I don't. Now that you've explained everything, like, yeah, I get it. But I hope that the campaign communicates that to potential backers, like, because instead of being as awesome and poetic as you obviously are, because you're a good writer, obviously, like you bring it down to where people like very simplistic log line that just really helps them understand it. The one you have here, a naive adware developer realizes a dark entity has been using him as a weapon against humanity. That's actually pretty good. Yeah, like that pretty much hits the mark.
We'll just do a different kind of thing because we can do our own format. We're our own men here. With the show, let's play around with the log line a little bit. So when I hear that there's an adware developer, it doesn't make me think of a Zuckerberg billionaire. You know, it makes me think of it makes me think that it's a small story, which is fine if you if you want me to think it's a small story, but it's an enormous story, then you start off small, but then we have to contrast it, right, Vaughn? So maybe if you say that you're an adware developer, you know, an adware developer is about to change the world and it'll never be a good land again or something like that.
Oh, that's pretty cool. That's off to a good start. Yeah. Something because that has a hook. That's a hook. Like
adware developer sounds small. I mean, they may make a lot of money, but it doesn't sound like the guy makes a lot of money or that he might have a way to change the world. Right. So you could, you know, like one of the things that I love is I love to stay focused on suspension of disbelief, which basically for me is I have to tell you what the world is. And if the story is the world, then you have to, that's like the main character. You deal with the stories change and you deal with presenting it that way. But then you can't make them accept a lot of other fantasy elements. You know, you're stuck with mild-mannered, you know, such and such is really a superhero. Like, oh, is really a superhero? Like that, how many imaginations did that capture? And the premise of like, mild-mannered Clark Kent or this boring attorney is really Daredevil, right? So, you know, you have that balance and that reveal and then it goes. So I don't know what the general perception is of, I don't know that it's important that he's an adware developer. It may be important story.
You could lose adware developer and describe something else about your hero.
Did he just murder that chick too? Like, what is his deal with that?
Well, I kind of wanted him to not know that he's actually going to be a hero, especially with the intro looking like the way it is. Sort of trying to leave that up to up in the air for now.
John Smith is no hero.
So you would say you could call him an unlikely hero or a something like that?
Yeah.
You don't want to tell him what his job is unless the job, let's pretend we're selling a high. First of all, your concept's about as high as anything could get, right? I mean, we're going to see, which we've never seen before, we're going to see a world fall apart as we follow your story.
Right.
And we're going to see it through this guy's point of view?
So, so this guy, I heard earlier you said that he was like a Mark Zuckerberg type. So is he like a billionaire?
Right. Well, yeah, only because he was contracted by this entity that's responsible for him being a weapon against humanity, I guess.
Like life, are you referring to? Are you making a reference to LifeLog?
Yes.
Okay. Right.
Well, anyway, Cesar knows what this stuff is too. And if anybody wants to look, LifeLog was the Pentagon's Facebook type program that coincidentally, and this is not a conspiracy. You Google it, it's there.
Right. Yeah.
The day that Pentagon was shut down, LifeLog was the day that Facebook was founded. I don't recall the day, but it was like an article in The Wire.
Yeah.
Told
Oh,
you
jeez.
not
You guys
Wire.
You guys are creeping me out. Creeping me out.
So let's go. So if you were to say something to the effect of that billionaire tech giant,
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, finds out who he really works for, and it ain't good. The world's about to change. We're about to lose everything. Something like that. Is
Right.
that true? Okay. Sometimes I come up with stuff that might sound good that isn't true.
Yeah.
It doesn't really help. I don't want to deceive anybody.
Sure.
Yeah.
But he is.
Yeah, I like that because you've now brought in the whole end of the world thing, which needs to be the focus because that's what your story is, and that's the heart and soul of it, and that's the selling point too. Just a weapon against humanity is it's got it's very general,
Mhm.
you know.
Yeah.
It's not the hardest way to hit it by saying something about the end of the world,
Okay. Yeah.
Decide what you really don't want to tell, because you can't not tell everything. Because there's got to be like, the small introduction, the big exposure to the world, and then the thing that's going to happen that's your character's fault, if there is. I want to know that it's his fault. You can't hide that, or you can hide that, but you've got to give away some stuff up front so that people are like, oh wow, how did this tech billionaire inadvertently F up the world?
Sure.
Because that's interesting.
That's the punchline right there. I think you just nailed it right there.
Yeah.
I mean, with you have to be with how right, Vaughn. I mean, how much I bothered you about the Monster MD. His concept is so cool, Monster MD too. Like, I'm asking him questions. There's things I want to know about, and there's things like, no, I'm not going to tell you. I'm like, all right, fine, but I gotta know some of like what tell me where the path is, even if you're not going to let me go down the path just yet.
Right.
A billionaire tech giant has the world in the palm of his hand, and it's about to end, or something like something like that. He has the world, and it's his fault. It's about to end.
Just like that, and I decided against it for some reason.
Okay.
Right.
Well, I got you.
Well, I can tell you're very deep about this story, and you've done a lot of the good legwork to make it more in depth. When as a writer myself, I don't know if this happens to you, but if I get too deep with my story, it's harder for me to nail down my log line too, because they're want to say, and so you start using more general language, and then you have to stop yourself and edit yourself. The log lines are like an art to themselves, that are going to really help sell your thing, or just not sell it at all, not help people relate. So it's something to study. I recommend studying, unless you already have, log lines from great movies that got their scripts purchased, because that log line helped sell that script, and it ended up becoming like a great movie like Aliens, or you know what I mean, like something cool. So look up log lines for classic films, and you'll start to hear the rhythm and like the type of language they use, because it really is like a language to itself.
Yeah, I believe that. Yeah, and log line's always been a tough thing for me to try to
it's tough.
Summarize it, because like you said, you get so deep into this, and it's like, and then I have like 12 different characters and all their plots. So I'm trying to how am I going to sum this up in like a sentence or two? So it's always been
tough. I have literally taken a college class on it, so I have an unfair advantage, but that I still feel like it's a challenge. So it is hard. It's really hard.
I appreciate the insight, though. Yeah.
It helped me too with my campaign. I made some changes. I asked her because campaign wasn't really moving enough, and I was like, I know Vaughn has some suggestions. The guys, I've heard him talk to people, So I knew his background was. So I messaged Vaughn. I'm like, Vaughn, do me a favor, be brutal. Just give me some feedback on my campaign.
Yeah, you did. You were like, be brutal.
They used the B word. They used the B word.
Yeah, and I was like, awesome. Permission granted.
You were a very busy guy. Everybody knows that. But you were very generous. But I was surprised with your response too, because it was so thoughtful. It was so much of it was like, I want to tell him it this way, and I want him to be aware of this. I'm not going to tell him that this is bad, but this could be so much better if. And it's like you really appreciate that kind of feedback.
I was trying to help.
And it was a help.
Before I moved on to this COMICSGATE stuff, I was gonna be a college professor, you guys. Like I was gonna teach screenwriting to people. So there is this little bit of passion within me to try to teach and help. But the passion, of course, is magnified. I just want all of us to be successful in COMICSGATE and just do
we're
really
all,
well.
Even if our campaigns didn't, God forbid, didn't fund properly and didn't fund or whatnot, we're all successful while we're learning. And we talked about giving up before. None of us are ever giving up. You know, if it doesn't work one time around, we're going to go at it again. It doesn't matter. And with a lot more information and with a whole bunch of other friends, because all of us are also, you're West tomorrow, you're going to be in CG Delta. I'm going to send you the link for it. But this group, our group of independent publishers that are in COMICSGATE that are helping each other just with one bit of this or one bit of that. And, you know, between all of us, as we organize what all of our experiences are, we're going to be killing it because we can help anybody. And if we know that you're back at it, God forbid, if you're 100% fund because you're on a fixed goal, we saw on you, Wes, then the second time you come around, your friends, and you'll have come in a couple of days, you'll have at least 20 of us are not going to let you do it in such a way that it's not going to work. No.
Yeah, it's like we're all, I don't know what it is. What is it like? It's like we're just kind of helping each other, like you're helping your neighbor out, you know, and to keep, which makes a nice, healthy, happier community but we, in the end, we're pretty much an artistic movement. It's crazy to think about because we've been called everything but that, but we're being called a hate movement straight up. We're so bad at hating. We spend all our time making books and having fun.
We have no time to hate.
No time to hate. So like, it's true. We don't have any time. So like, we're making these awesome books, and guess what? Like, this is how good art movements succeed: is when you help each other, when you see the potential in others and try to help polish them, and you can all learn from each other. Keep an open mind, admit your faults, and try to do better next time if you fail. But it's not going to end. It's not ending. It seems to be growing lately. So I'm really glad all these new people are here.
No question about it. We all benefit. We're all going to win. And I'm predicting a year from now, because I've seen it happen in other formats, in other publishing structures. There are things that we can all collaborate on. Like one of us does have an idea, but we don't have time to execute. So but somebody else has time to work on a project, and another guy knows an artist. And then we kind of put together an arrangement, and we can all just do. There's so much cool stuff we could be doing. And Vaughn, I don't know how much you think about this or not too, but till you're ready with your next book, you may have a couple of months of downtime. So it's like you still want to be out there with more people knowing who Von Klaus is.
To be honest with you, man, I don't know when I'm gonna have downtime. Like I'm a single white male with a cat. Like I don't have anything going on. I'm a loser. No, I'm kidding. But I am the perfect archetype for a guy who stays home and makes awesome comic books, and I'm enjoying the hell out of that. Well,
there'll be many more of those books.
I don't have kids. I don't got a wife to worry about. Like I've got time. The guys that I have, the wife and the kids, like those are the badasses. Those are the guys who make comics while doing a family. I don't know how you guys do it. You're amazing. You're tough. Cal has to deal with that, and he's still making Shinobi Sasquatch. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I want to have Cal on and talk to him too one of these nights. We're gonna have
Cal was one of the first people in COMICSGATE that I actually talked to, and I talked to him before he went live, so it's kind of cool to see his rise. I was like,
he's
a great guy.
Yeah, I love the book. I love the book he's doing with Rob Willis. I mean, the art's great.
Oh, that's amazing.
A crossover that's now going to happen, right? Because he hit his 40.
I never heard about it? If he hit 40, I never heard it. This would be news to me.
Get his number up. We'll make sure we get his number up. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I saw it, or maybe I just saw your number go up even higher. I'm like, it must have been. Who knows? Because nobody works like.
You're just making up numbers again. You're just making up.
8,000. That's how much you lost with your first one. That's my guess.
My first one?
Yeah, the one that you couldn't publish because it wasn't right.
Let me think about that, dude. You know what? You know what? Now that I think about it,
I'm probably right.
I think you're in the right ballpark.
I am. I know numbers. Cesar could tell you why, but for some reason they're given to me. I think them, and that's it.
I think I spent eight. I think I spent $8 or $9 grand on Monster MD version 1, the indie one.
It was closer to 8, and I don't ask me why. I know the spirits talk. All right.
Okay.
I want to spend a little bit more time on this log line, and then I want to focus all of our superpowered energy on Chongo, and not just Chongo, but Chongo the comic. If you know what I'm saying, Cesar.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
There's such a thing that's Chongo that's not the comic. It's another story. Cesar will cover as much as he's possible. Now, on this logline issue, here's what I want to contribute to it. I messaged this in our group chat here. The billionaire tech giant just found out who he really works for. That's pretty effing good. All right.
Yeah.
However, it could use some adjustment, and it's not the whole thing. But what you do is first you build the sandbox. And I was told by someone very graciously, Adam, you're not a good writer, but you're really good at building a sandbox. I was like, sandbox? He's like, framing. You're good at framing. You know, and then everybody gets in that sandbox, and it works out. So I want to frame this log line, and then you finish it. And even if we don't finish it tonight, it makes a difference. It makes a difference that we improve everything that we have if we can. So I have this part where billionaire tech giant found out who he really works for. Do we or do we not want to say that our character here was responsible for the pending destruction of the world? We don't want to say that, or we don't?
I don't mind. Yeah, I don't.
Is he or is he not actually? Yeah, right?
He is about to be responsible for the end of the world.
Right.
His own creation is about to end it all.
All right. His own creation.
Which is interesting.
Yeah,
what would you do if something you created was about to end it all?
Exactly. Yes, that's the question I want you to ask yourself.
Dude, that's a good question to put in your campaign too.
Yeah.
We'll make it part, if we make it part of the log line, and then the log line, which will be too long, but then we'll cut out any unessential information. We'll cut out any unessential idea, which is not going to be much of it because this is like not that many ideas. And then the rest, you could repurpose it for other questions. You know, what would you do? You know, so his own creation is about to destroy
everything.
I'll just say destroy the world.
You know, is your show always like this? Half Speed Tooch, is your show always like this where it's like we're like polishing everyone's campaigns? Because this is fun. Like, shouldn't we always do this? This is great.
Hey, you just admit that you're not watching every show of mine.
I'm not. I'm sorry. I have a backlog. I've got a backlog.
You gotta watch my Half Speed Tucci.
I know. I like your show too. I like your show, but like I had a backlog lately because I'm working much. I even worked today. It was my day off.
Wes, pull out that pistol from your comic and show him we're not fucking around over here. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
With respect to your question, this is
oh my God. It's like I'm on The Sopranos or something. Okay.
I love The Sopranos. I love The Sopranos.
I know.
You call me Half Speed Tucci. If you call me Half Speed Tucci, I think it's going to be my cue from now on to get deep into Sopranos mode.
Go very Soprano on me.
Very hardcore Sopranos. Whoever pulls it, like, all right, they need some Sopranos. What price I should use for my minimum goal? Like, all right, you're going to ask me a price about that question
but my question was,
use your head.
Do you do this on every show?
Honestly, we're going to. We have to.
We should. We should.
Because a lot of people can benefit from it. But what I'll say is, I think we should do like maybe a development show like this, which would be like a pre-launch.
Yeah.
And then I think that obviously we need to talk about tiers and stuff like that as we get a following and things. so that we make sure we're helping to literally push books. And of course, Ethan doesn't have time for this on COMICSGATE Live. But this also applies a lot to everyone, I think, too. Like at least for our community, and it gives a different dimension too. I really like the one. Mostly, I've been doing these one-on-one interviews, also because like I'm not used to managing. Like I was on Ethan's COMICSGATE Live, the first show I was on. I was like nervous to even say anything. It's like I don't know, said Ethan. But also I wasn't familiar and comfortable with talking. And like, well, who am I, and how much of me am I going to show while I'm talking? So this is just kind of a new format. But yeah, I'm with you.
Okay. Yeah, we'll find it. We'll find our legs.
I think I think there's a lot of value, and it makes sense for people.
I wanted to ask, did we help you at all with your log line? And you could tell us no if we didn't.
Absolutely, Adam.
We did
a couple of phrases in there, and I'm going to work on them and get this thing.
Okay, because I want to. I want the results to be good. Like, I don't want, to just like waste our time here because like we're not getting paid or anything. So, but yeah, I think I do like helping. I like it when I can help people's campaigns shine and, do well.
It's very good for your rep. And it also makes you unique. And Ethan, the most successful people all say the same sort of stuff that you say in terms of wanting everyone to be successful. In terms of saying, I can't even tell you how many pages the book is because I keep adding to it. Like all the leaders talk this way. And it's because, people love our stuff. They want more of us. We have so much to give. So in addition to giving them a great book, let's share the knowledge that we have. And it's just important for us to be known in the rest of the group too. It's like, oh, Vaughn does this and Adam does that. And, we do it together. And Wes is contributing a lot. Wes is one of the biggest stories in COMICSGATE in terms of its scope and his approach. I love the story. His approach to Apocalypse here is fantastic.
I think it's a nice, change of pace from other Indiegogo projects, and it definitely has a place.
People know what the hell you're doing, and they don't have to figure it out like Vaughn did. Vaughn figured it out. I didn't figure it out. So we're going to make sure they know what the hell you're doing, and we're going to make sure that people are aware of the project as much as we can promote it. So I sent you this text to take a look at, Wes, in
I got it.
Chat. So please save it so you have it.
Definitely. Right? Thank you. I appreciate it, guys.
What we've worked out so far is
cool. We want to move on to the other one?
Oh, we're dying to go to Chungo. It's very cool.
Chungo time.
Billionaire tech giant just found out who he really works for. That's actually very cool. It really is. So keep as much of that as you can.
I like it.
The nation is about to destroy the world. There will never be a good land again. And the name of your book is Good Land.
That's cool.
Awesome.
Right? I like that.
If there are any ideas that you think shouldn't be in there, you take them out. Like
make it your own, mix and match.
Sure. Or use it verbatim, baby. Use whatever you want.
Look up other movies that are a bit like Good Land.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to do that.
And look at their log lines.
Oh my God. My favorite. You know what? This reminds me of my favorite apocalypse movie, which is called On the Beach, which was made in the was it the late 50s? I think it was the late 50s. So look up a movie called, I'll type it to you, On the Beach.
Sure.
This is where they're in Australia. People living in Australia. There's some U.S. soldiers that are stationed there, and they find out that the world has had a nuclear holocaust, and the nuclear fallout hasn't reached Australia yet. So as the world is starting to realize it's screwed, Australia is, the rest of everyone's pretty much dead. They start freaking out, and they also start looking around and being like, well, is there anywhere else maybe in the world that we can go that the fallout hasn't gone yet? So you get, it's not exactly your story, but it's thematically, you see there's some similarities.
Yeah.
It's really with Apocalypse. Such a great movie. And you could find it. It's not too hard to find. I think you can find it on YouTube even for free, like with a little weird cropping of the film. All right, our friend Cesar. Cesar, thanks for being patient. And wow, look at the cool stuff you're drawing.
Yeah.
I hope we get Vaughn. You're still with us back there somewhere, right? I might have popped out for a bit. Vaughn will be back in a moment if he's not here right now. Cesar, we're going to jump onto your campaign. And when you have time, Wes, to look at other people's campaigns is a great thing.
Yeah.
It really is. you kind of get ideas of what's working. The big thing that I didn't do that you might be able to do if you work it out with your artist is to have original art to sell. People seem to, no matter what the book is, they seem to be willing to pay $300 for a page of original art, which of course you can.
The campaigns I stared at the longest were Cyberfrog, Graveyard Shift, and Jawbreakers. And then I looked around at campaigns like Lady Death by Brian Pulido, because those are always very successful. And it's creepy and weird stuff like I'm selling. So look at other campaigns that are within, that are a bit like your comic, maybe, or at least the same style of art, maybe.
Sure.
See what they offer and how they word things, what kind of tiers we got. I mean, there's a lot of studying to do. It's like going to school all over again, man. That's what I had to do, is study up.
Right.
Really, really well worth it. Cesar,
it is worth it.
You're still with us, right, Cesar?
Yeah, I'm still right here. I'm just.
All right, brother. No, you're waiting and timing and balance. No problem. All right, we got to get to your campaign page. All right, I have to switch it over because that's what I'm doing. Bing, bang, boom. Tango, yamaya legua. All right. Cesar knows what I'm talking about. All right, Tango, the Broken Veil. All right, tell us a little bit about Tango, the Broken Veil, Cesar. Let's start at the top, brother.
All right, so what is it? It's a horror comic. Someone asked, well, how would you describe it? I said, well, it's The Sixth Sense meets Pan's Labyrinth with a touch of Troll Hunters. Okay, so I say the Troll Hunter part because there's humor in this. Okay, and so the way that the characters are designed kind of have like a little quirkiness to them. Like, I don't know if you've seen that animated film, the animated series that was on Netflix of Troll Hunters, and then also with Pan's Labyrinth. So when I saw Pan's Labyrinth, I was just blown away by just the whole visual look of that film.
It's his best. It's his best movie.
It's really amazing. And then, you know what? Here, let me see if I can go share my screen.
I see like Charlie Adlard in his work.
This looks cool, man. Yeah, it's like
sophisticated, cool.
He looks like such a kind of wimpy, kind of nervous dude, and he's got all these horrific monsters around him, and like, it reminds me of it would have been a really good animated series back in the 90s where like it's creepy but it's funny and it's weird and like these cool characters.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, but like I was in comics during the 90s. Okay, doing a lot of independent comics and stuff like that. So that's the sensibility that I have even now. And I try to modernize it as much as I can. But you always go to your original source material, what you feel good with. So so it's a horror comic. It's a me and my writing partner have described it as a dramedy. So we're telling a horror drama story there, and there's enough humor and stuff in there to kind of like keep it light. And most of it is coming from Esu, so we're the themes that we're dealing with are how do you tell someone that you care about that you're like seeing crazy shit. Okay.
Yeah.
How old is this boy?
We hide stuff. Okay. A lot of times we hide stuff from those that we care about. And so here's a 6-year-old boy. Okay. He's dealing with the fact that he can see demonic entities, which is not a common thing, obviously. All right. So that is coming right on the heels of him losing his father. All right. His father dies unexpectedly. His mom are trying to kind of figure how they're going to live their life, without the dad. And then all of a sudden, here comes this thing that gets thrown into their life, and it just kind of like mucks up the works for quite a while.
Dang, that's awesome. This is a good. That's a good setup.
Your campaign is one I actually looked at extensively because I thought the premise was really cool, and I really like what you're saying about this project. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. Thanks a lot.
Cool.
Oh yeah, definitely.
The boy is 6 years old and is similar to the Sixth Sense. He sees demons that really are there. He's not imagining it. We know that they're there from the story, right?
Yeah.
Like these are demons.
Right. He sees them. All right. And if you look at some of the, I think I posted some of the finished colored and lettered pages. And so just to kind of give you an idea, if you, I don't know if you scroll down there, Adam.
We'll look right now. We'll look right now.
Yeah. So if you scroll down to that last page there, you'll see what he is seeing, but no one else is seeing. So, for instance, when we look at the so right here, that whole setup right there that you've seen, where the record they go into a music store in the Caribbean. Well, she collects albums.
Oh.
Okay? And so one of the albums that was on the bucket list of her husband before he died was this album that was really available only in the Caribbean. Okay, so she brings this album home and starts to play it. Now, if they're a very musical family, she's an amazing singer, and her voice singing along with the album unlocks a curse that's in it. And it's that curse that opens up the veil, thus, Chango, the broken veil. It opens up the veil on the other side, and the Chango demon comes through, okay, and wants the voice, okay, but goes after the kid. Now, I don't want to give up too much more from there, but all of a sudden, it ends. But one of the things that's left behind is this ability that he has, plus this little demon that is always with him, has been with him since the age of 6.
Oh, he's got his own personal little demon, huh? What's his name?
I don't want to give that up right now.
Oh, okay.
The supernatural world is open to this child when his mother plays a local record from the Caribbean that was always on the father's kind of wish list. Get this obscure occult record. She got the record, started to play it, sang along with the record. Maybe she didn't know well enough, but she sang along, or wasn't being responsible, but sang along with the record, and that opens this supernatural world to the child.
Right. So he can see these. Now he sees these demons, and how, okay, why does it seem that some people are always angry and they're out of control? Why does it seem that, why is that person always depressed?
Oh man.
Why are they dealing with why is she so conceited? Why is this person, you know what I'm saying? Like, so there's all these things. And so I'm explaining is like, well, it's that whole thing of the devil made me do it. Okay. So these entities are actually on these people and controlling them. So when you look at that page that we just had up there on the airplane, so we got this little demon wrapped around this stewardess's head.
Oh my God. Yeah.
You can't see it. It's just there. But here's what it's saying. Your husband doesn't love you. He's cheating on you. He thinks you're too
my
old.
God, dude.
Right? And then there's a demon that's on the pilot telling him, crash it, crash it, crash it.
Yeah, it's kind of, oh my God, that's so creepy and cool. It's funny too. It's kind of funny. She's got her pink nips out.
They do.
Dude, it's like the negative voice in your head come to life.
Yeah.
Yes. It's attributed to these demon characters.
Yeah. And so I'm having a good time just designing each of these demons.
Yeah.
It's fun. Okay. How are they representing them? So there's thousands of them. Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's gotta be. Millions, billions.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them.
There's
It's crazy. I mean, does everybody have one, or is it just some people?
No, some people. I think
Okay.
it's like when you it's like, you know, whenever you let yourself get influenced to such a degree that you kind of can't control anymore. So now, you know, whereas before she was thinking, well, does my husband love me? Was he cheating on me? Whatever. Now she manifested that. So
Yeah.
she's hearing it all the time now.
Yeah.
And it may not
Everything
be,
she does. Everything she does. She's carrying that little demon around on her back.
Yeah.
Wes, does this sound freaky to you?
Oh yeah, you know, I wanted to say these little demons kind of put me in mind of the old Ghostbusters cartoons. You know, they have quirky little ghosts.
Yeah.
So unique, each one of them. It just kind of put me in mind of that. But yeah, the premise is really awesome.
For Cesar, these are like expressions of evil in a way. These demons, right? I mean, it's just straight up evil. These demons.
Yeah.
Or maybe
It's funny because they all have a personality. Like I'll divulge this one scene. So there's this one scene where they're in a taxi, and the guy that's driving the taxi he's a Muslim, and he's trying to become a citizen, and he's really concerned because his visa's getting ready to run out, and there's a little demon sitting right next to him, dressed as a federal immigration agent that's ripping up his application, for naturalization.
just totally screwing with them.
Yeah, but it's like right there. So he's hearing this. Yep, you're not getting in. This sort of thing. And you can. And I drew him, sitting there, with his big glasses and just ripping the naturalization form right in front.
It's almost like a little voice in the top of your head that you can decide, like that's telling you, well, this isn't going to work out. This isn't going to work out. You're never going to make it with this. This isn't going to be successful. Like that little, it's listening to that little voice and letting it get louder by feeding it, or not listening to it and ignoring that demon. It just depends how much energy you give to it, right?
Right.
How cool.
Do they ever have like endearing qualities, or like ever help the characters in any way, like even haphazardly?
Well,
That's an interesting.
Yeah, okay, so I can't give it away.
Oh my God. It's on lockdown, this book, man.
That's actually, yes. Just
Chongo is not from nowhere. Chongo is something that a lot of people know what Chongo is if they're familiar with
What is it?
African and South American religion. Chongo is associated with Santeria and some other sympathetic magic religions. So when you see people that they have beads and like little statues and things like that, and there's a lot of people in our even in the United States that practice Santeria. There's a song, "I don't practice Santeria." That's what it's about. So it doesn't. But Chongo exists in other religions too, and it also exists and is represented in our other religions, in the Catholic or Christian religion through saints. There are different saints have different affiliations with Chongo. So without speaking specifically to Cesar's book, even, there is a belief that there are demons and positive spirits and negative spirits. So I would like, in all things in the universe, there's a positive, there's a negative, there's a price to pay to get something that you want. And if you don't pay a price to get something that you want, you're going to lose your soul over it. And that's not Santeria. That's the way our universe seems to work. So there's never a something for nothing. It's always, is it worth it?
Okay.
There'll be good spirits, I'm sure, in Cesar's book. So Cesar, it really is very interesting. And we talked about your book the other night, and but I didn't see this page. I didn't see this page with our main character seeing all these demons on top of people and seeing all the crazy things that he's telling them. But what's also cool is your character knows what other characters are thinking. because that's what's being told to them.
Right.
But
you're 6. You've been doing this. You're hearing. You're hearing like almost like hearing other people's thoughts all the time.
You're hearing their negative thoughts or positive thoughts. Like, so if someone had a passed away loved one that was a spirit that was around them, might be saying, you know, you should always think good things, and I love you, and your mom always loved you, and you're always a special person, and stuff like that. My mom was great like that, to be honest with you. My number one fan, except now for Vaughn and you guys, you're my new number one fans. So let's talk a little. That didn't sound so sincere.
Guys, I just lost my video feed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Sorry.
so I have no idea what's going on right now.
All right, hold on.
Can you guys be okay?
Yeah. Well, we're on Cesar right now, so we can see you.
Okay.
You're looking as ever, blue shirt, beard, glasses.
So I'm gonna look right into because it's pointless.
Yeah, look at the camera. We got on, and we still got our buddy Wes.
Yep.
All right. So what
They
I was
just announced a new Blade movie from Marvel. Okay.
Really?
Yeah. New Blade. They announced the behind him and everything. We can talk later about that.
All right. Female lead Blade. We could do a video on that.
No.
All right.
No female lead Blade.
I'm expecting it. Let's see.
Suck.
Help them with their log line.
So Cesar, now just to look. Let's look at your log line. If we were going to play with log lines, I don't know if you want to play with the log line. We can if you want. It's up to you, Cesar.
All right. So my log line is pretty straightforward. I wrote it, and that's what I put in my video.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of thought that about his log line. I thought it was like it was covering it pretty well.
Yeah.
Let's see. 2-part graphic novel about the demons we keep with us and the boy that sees them. That's pretty good. I mean, it's
very direct.
It hits home, and pretty simple. People can understand that. Like, okay, this little boy sees demons. In a log line, of course, you wouldn't mention the graphic novels at all, and you would. But that's how he's approaching his campaign. If I had to give a tip, I guess I would say after that first line about the boy who sees them, you would then say he has to achieve this or else XYZ might happen, or basically bring in the conflict part. The stakes, what's to be lost, what is he up against just because he sees them? Where does the story part kick in? But whatever, it's however you want to approach your
right.
I'm not get this wrong, but Cesar, the sense I'm getting from this too, from our conversation about this, looking at these pages, is there's humor because it's like some of this stuff is like almost scary funny, but it's like it's dark humor. No, isn't it like?
Yeah, no, yeah. Absolutely. And there's as the story progresses, like there's a scene that in Santee Alley between where there's 2 women sitting on a bench, and there's a interaction there, and you can see what the one demon is doing to the other demon and how they're influencing each of the women sitting on the bench, and something pretty funny happens right there. So it's funny, but there's like this undercurrent of like it's funny, but it's kind of pretty wicked.
If someone falls and hurts themselves, you might laugh, but because it's funny, but they hurt themselves. So there's consequences to the humor. It's dark humor. It's straight up dark humor.
Yeah.
I mean, Vaughn, you're the horror expert here, as far as I'm concerned. Are you with it? Your screen did go black. Vaughn, you there? Oh, yeah, there's Vaughn. Hey, Vaughn. No, and then I go off Vaughn, and then he pops up. Interesting. Oh, maybe his video. Vaughn, are you there? Maybe not. We may have lost Vaughn. Wes, are you there?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
All right, we got some Wes. Some Cesar.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. It's... Oh, we click on Vaughn. It's black. Did I block him somehow inadvertently? I don't think so. I don't know. I'm not so super high tech that I have the answers to all these things.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you either.
Quick, somebody get Nerd Wonder. She knows everything.
I'm back live again. I can see things.
You're live.
All right.
Vaughn, are you live? All right. I don't know why we don't have audio from Vaughn, and we have a picture from Vaughn. Oh, he may have frozen because he's been in the same position all this time. Yeah.
He's coming
back in. He'll probably come back in. He might have had an internet thing. It's always fun to see Vaughn's take on horror issues. Yeah, I think you've got dark humor there, my friend. And I think it's better to call it that than a dramedy, too, because it's not a comedy. There's no comedy. It just happens to be, it's dark humor. It's, something upsetting happens that also happens to be funny. But I think you're going to get a great emotional reaction from people when they read the book. Cesar, I wanted to ask you, because I'm obsessed with questions like this. How many pages is your book?
54.
54.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Your color?
No. I actually, my colorist is Jason Smith. He's very good colorist. So
he's the colorist. The book's color.
Yeah.
Not color.
He actually was the colorist on Spencer and Locke from Action, I think it was.
Cool.
Yeah, so he's really talented colorist. So when I was developing the look for this, because I don't know if you can tell, it's got some Mignola-ish vibe to it.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say Mignola and Adlard is what I saw in your work. And yeah, I'm not great with all the current newest artists, but yeah, absolutely.
Right, and so the thing that I was going for was that, and so obviously I said, well, I can't do a Mignola-ish style and then just have random colorists color it, Mm-hmm. So I asked Jason, hey, are you with Dave Stewart? Can you color in a Vaughn is back? I said, can you color in a Dave Stewart style? And the guy goes on for about the next 45 minutes or so telling me about how much he loves Dave Stewart. He studied his technique. So I sent him an image, which is the one that you see up right there, where he colored that up, and I saw it, and I was like, dude, I want to use you for this project when I get ready.
Oh, that's fantastic.
That's cool. I love Dave Stewart. Hell yeah.
It's really great when you wind up being able to so carefully put a project together.
Oh, yeah.
And I actually, I surprised myself too. When I'm putting my book together, this was, more than 2 years ago when I started on my book. But yeah, there's so much care going into selecting the creative teams and making sure it's something they want to do. And what's really funny, Cesar, too, is when you spoke to your colorist and you made a suggestion to him and he was like just really interested in the same thing, sometimes it's cool to just ask people, like, just look stylistically, who do you love the most? Like what would give you the most freedom to work that way?
Right.
And then before, even if it's not something that we were thinking of, but if they can really, really exceptionally do their best working in a certain style, then you get you're getting A++ work. And you otherwise might have only gotten A- or something, which A- is still excellent work. But it's like, okay, well, what really turns you on? What's amazing? Then you start to see, like, does that match? Or maybe you can contextualize what you would want to do into something they want.
Mm-hmm. It's a rare thing finding that artist that's not just the book, but they're the best for the book. That's amazing.
Yeah.
When you can put together a whole team that does that, I think it's almost a miracle. It's amazing.
And so one of the things that I was really concerned about with this, and I've already seen it in Wes's, and obviously Vaughn, I've seen it in your book, is that I have a very high concern for making sure that the product looks the best that it absolutely can. All right.
Yeah.
And so that means everything. So, from the colorist to, even the work that I'm doing, I'm making sure that, all right, don't screw around, make sure you're doing the best that you can with this.
Freelance, this is important.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially, you know, I'm in a certain sense I'm not quite aping Mignola. I forgot how to say his name.
He's got a weird one.
It's a tongue twister. So I'm not aping it 100%, but when you look at it, you're like, oh, that kind of looks like Mignola.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
So,
I was thinking that.
All right, fine. So I'm succeeding at that, I guess.
Yep.
But if you're gonna do that, make sure you do it right, because you want to.
Yep.
I'm a big fan of his work. I love Hellboy, one of my favorite characters, and so saying that, you know, and bringing in a guy like Jason to color it, who also is a big fan of Dave Stewart, who worked on Hellboy, and then, you know, I got Justin Birch. So, and you guys know, I mean, obviously Wes hired Eric Weathers to color. So you want to have everything from the art to the coloring to the, you know, obviously the story, and then the lettering, you know. So
Oh yeah.
the lettering is an art form unto itself, and I respect every aspect because I've done it. You know, I've myself, I used to use the old Ames lettering guide. I don't know if you guys even know what that is. Right now, everything's done in Photoshop, but it's it's about this big. It's got a little wheel in it that you can flip around. There's little dots that you line up in a certain way, and you mark out the lettering lines. Then you hand letter it. You make the.
Oh, I've seen that in action. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts.
Yeah, that's an art form. That's an art form. Even today with the digital, it's still got a lot of art form to it, and that's why Eric Weathers is so good. I mean, he gets it. He gets what your book wants and needs, and talks to you about it, and then he prescribes like the best bubbles, the best font choices. You know, he just he gets it.
It's fast too. I'd love to have Eric on one of these once we get moving, and we can get a few more shows.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, he'd be great.
You guys have done a lot of fun shows together, and I'd let you know, it's so great because people really do appreciate when you give them insight on making their books, and they learn something, and then, you know, it's great. They help word out. Let's go through your tiers, and then we have to go through jump back over to the tiers of Wes's, because I think we didn't do that, and then the rest we're going to do is Monster MD, our brains out. Here we go. Chango. So the cheapest thing is the PDF. Bing, bang, boom. So if somebody is in a foreign country in particular, maybe they want to get the Chango PDF. Is that right, Cesar?
Right, exactly. So that, and you know, I had people saying, well, why is it $10? That seems high. I'm like, yeah, I understand. But you're getting all 56 pages plus the cover, and that's plus you're getting bonus material like, you know, samples of scripts, layouts. You're getting to look at, you know, the design concepts. So there's like extra material in there. So
that's more than 54 pages.
To me, I think 10 is a good. I've seen these things at $20, to be honest.
Of course, absolutely, and that is probably going to be closer to 100 pages, right? Yeah,
that's going to bring it, I would say, probably close to 80, perhaps.
Nice.
With the bonus.
Act 1, double-sized comic.
Right.
So 25.
Right.
It's 54 pages.
56 pages.
And
56.
Is that going to include? Okay, sorry, 56. Is that going to include the PDF as well?
Not at this level.
Has the cover been fully revealed yet?
Yes.
Okay. Cool. Where is it? Is it?
Let's see here.
Add it to the listing.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I should do that.
That's what Von's hinting. I want to say. Von is more politically correct than I am. But don't start asking about my other identity, because it's going to be trouble. And Wes, just don't think because you're quiet that you're all right. We know where you are. Good, Wes.
Good, I'm good.
You didn't say anything? It's all right. Okay, he's not innocent either. All right. Right back over to me. All right, and I'm looking at Chango. All right, so you're going to add the cover because I'm sure it's beautiful, stunning, and it's very, very cool for people to see what they're buying.
People like to see what they're buying, yeah. They like to see
Done deal. Chango, Act 1 plus print. All right, so you're going to get the Act 1 plus you're going to get this print of, is that the cover?
That's the cover that I have on screen share now.
Okay. It's not the on screen share. Look at it real quick. Will you add it to the main campaign listing too, so we all feel like we contributed tonight? Oh, wow! Chango has his hand on his head.
Pushing down.
Chango is not bad, right? No, but you don't want to tell us. We'll see in the story, but I don't think he is. I want to think he's not. I'm not going to call any of the 7 powers bad. What are you, crazy? They're not bad.
Yeah. So I designed this, the font, the layout, you know.
Cool.
It's beautiful. It's going to be a great book. We're happy for you. We're happy, really. We're all making great stuff.
It's going to be fun.
We're just nailing down the promotion part, and then we're all going to help each other with delivery because there's going to be delivery issues. We're going to get it done. Nobody fails on our team. Nobody fails. Everybody wins.
Right. So
all right, comic and personal. Comic and personal drawing.
Yeah. So
what kind of personal?
So
yeah, what do they get?
For $50, you're gonna get the comic, and then you can request your own personal demon or hang up or whatever, and I design your own personal entity.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Do they get to tell you like what their problem is? And then you could design a demon based on it. They'll be like, dude,
yes,
I can't stop jerking off to the Golden Girls. And have to like create the demon.
That's not a good demon.
yes.
That'd be a bad demon.
He knows what. By the way, I think
have a weird box where, but
like
you know,
B. Arthur, like naked B. Arthur crawling on you and shit. I'd scream.
the cat is revealing a lot right now.
Caesar, what you do for something like that would be like half of it would be beautiful and half of it would be B. Arthur. Don't make him do it, Vaughn, because he'll do it.
Oh no,
He'll do it.
Pull the trigger.
Wes was staying out of this, and Wes has a cross in the background. He's a good man. He's safe over there, and in light.
I just think that'd be really cool if like that was one of the things where like someone wrote into you and went like, I've been dealing with some real serious shit like heroin or something, and then you're like, I got you, man. And then they have this sweet demon they can look at to remind themselves that they're fighting this thing. Because one of the things about those demons, those negative voices in your head in real life, is that you do it a million times a day and you forget you do it. And it really is like a demon winning over you and lying to you and tricking you, you know? And to actually have a physical picture of your actual demon might actually bring some sort of like comfort to people or something, you know?
Yeah. So in sympathetic magic, what we're doing is we are materializing your negativity so that we can have it around us all the time.
You can throw darts at it. You can burn it.
Probably hang it on the wall. The only way it works if you create a negative symbol like that is you burn it. If you have a positive symbol, you keep it. You destroy your negative symbols. You
I don't care what you do with it.
You can't have that attitude. You know what, Cesar? There's powers that are watching that right now. You got to be careful. This is why Caesar's like a little too easy going with this stuff for me. I'm not a religious man with all that, but you know, maybe I am. I guess. Caesar, no demons. I mean, just make positive things.
No, demons. Demons is where it's at, Cesar. Listen to me. I am now your demon.
I'm going to send you a link to. You know what? Look up. So I don't know if it was Grant Morrison, whichever guy that's like the guy in comics that got into magic a lot.
Well, both of them are, but Morrison claims that he's actually done real magic.
Oh God! Morrison claims that the aliens like abducted him and then like shoved some like mystical item up his ass that turned him into the best writer in the world. Like,
which the guy who said he had a conversation with Superman? Like he actually had he was writing Superman. Maybe it was Morrison, but there was.
It might have been Morrison.
Probably was. And there was one of these guys was working on
acid. He drops so much acid.
I've
heard so many stories about him, man. He's crazy.
Listen, I dropped acid in the past, and I thought I spoke to certain people that.
Yeah, no doubt. That stuff will mess you up.
My not my half. I'm not going to be pushy about it. Not my half-speed Tucci demand. My Adam Post request would be, let's just make positive, inspirational things.
Of course.
Yeah, limit on the demonic entities, because the things that we imagine are real to us. The things that we imagine that are real to us are real to us. We've got to be careful with imagery. Look up sigil at some point. On YouTube, there's some interesting. You can actually do some of your own little like.
I've got sigils all over my comic book, man. I've got so many witches like marks and like pentagrams and like.
Do you know what they mean?
Huh?
Do you know what they mean? Each of the sigils.
Like for instance, in the Monster MD logo on his meat wagon van, like that has a sigil on the top of his medical symbol that means protection. However, it's not about. I'm not trying to draw from Wiccan stuff, and I'm not saying Dr. Black is religious and Wiccan that way. Actually, I would say Dr. Black is more closer to Christian, but that's his own thing. But like the thing is that the Wiccan stuff to the monsters, to me, would be like a language they easily understand. When they see that star, they know it means protection. So it's like it is a positive thing for communicating to the monsters in the world. So it's like a world building thing. It's not a like religious stance on you know what I mean? Like I'm here to entertain. I'm not here to like preach.
Obviously, as we know, like there are certain words that we could use that have power. Like if you were using a C word to refer to a woman, that has power. It's not positive, or other words that denote racism and things like that, or whatever it is. Or the N word that everybody who doesn't agree with social justice is there. They are the N word, and the words do have power. Symbols have power, and they affect what we believe to be possible and true. So we should just, the pentagrams and stuff like that. You just have to use stuff in careful ways. And if you do have pentagrams represented in books that you're publishing and in your artwork, it's not a bad idea to even break a line and not have the full pentagram. But even if like 5% of it's missing, I'm just saying, I'm not saying for, I'm not like practicing and whatever it is. I'm just saying like, you just put out as much as you can that's positive. That's all. And there's nothing not to use pentagrams and other stuff like that. Use all that stuff. It's just, I don't know, look at Wes's background. He's got that nice cross on it's just like, that's nice. It's nice. So just be careful with evil, all right? I don't want to have to get rid of your ghost. Let's put it that way. I'm already getting rid of my friend's ghost. It's a big problem. All right.
Whoa. Okay. So what else can we say about this book?
Well, we're just going through the rest of the tiers. So the comic and Ben postcard.
Yeah.
So Ben is obviously the character. You get the comic, you get the postcard, and this Blue Demon, who's a nice guy.
That's his dude. That's his demon, man.
Dude, so listen, that Ben postcard thing is actually this. So Ben Goldsman is the writer on the series with me, and what he'll do is at this tier, he has these vintage postcards, and then on the back of them he writes your own personal horror story. So you tell him what the hang up is, and he'll just do
God.
Oh my God.
He's done one for me. I had like this thing about rats. And he wrote like this really neat one little postcard story, and it came out pretty great. So he's actually sold a lot of these, but he's been pretty busy lately and stuff like that. So he's gotten away from it, but he's gonna do some for this campaign. And then at this level here, at the $75 level, you're gonna get the comic, the demon art, and the postcard, and the print for $75. And then at the next tier. Here you're gonna get the comic, and then you'll be able to get drawn into the book. So I have this double page spread that I have in that takes place in Santee Alley, and you'll be able to be immortalized in Chongo the comic book. So I will draw you in as a character in the crowd, and then the last two you just get everything. Which is, I think, a great deal for $150. You can't go wrong.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. All right, we need to do a little cleanup on Good Land number 1 and go through the tiers on Good Land number 1, and we're doing it right now. It used to be a naive ad where developer realizes a dark entity has been a lot of dark entities on our show. has been using a lot. And not just you, Ron.
It's demonic.
Making happy books. I don't understand.
It's a monster mash. All right. We were talking about changing the log line. Heard that a little bit. And we know that it's a brilliant billionaire tech executive finds out that he has been inadvertently helping to destroy the world, and the world is in for some serious trouble. And we'll see where that goes. So Wes, you're with us. Number one, two. I like that. Right off the bat, you're like, listen, man, you need to buy 2 copies of this.
Oh yeah. Give it to a friend or an enemy or who cares. I don't know. But yeah.
I mean, everyone's gonna love it when they get it. So there's 2 of them. It's $25. 4 people have taken you up on that so far. You have a digital edition that is cheaper than you're trying to undersell Chongo by $2. All right, let's see how it goes.
I have less.
I think $10 for a PDF is fine. If people don't want to support the campaign, they don't have to support the campaign. $8 is obviously a little cheaper, and it's fine. But yeah, we have every right to charge what we feel like we need for it to be, worthwhile for us.
So don't feel
man. It's a good price. I mean, that's the interesting thing about digital. It's like, what price should I do? Like, I guess I'll do 10. I guess I can do 8. I don't know. Like, it's like I think it's smart, actually. It's smart to undercut people and compete a little bit, or just if your book has less pages, then you can price for that.
Yeah, that's why I did that.
A little less expensive. All right, so Good Land number 1 is $15. This is really the print version.
Yeah.
And how many pages is this book supposed to be?
Pages, you said?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
32.
32 pages. Okay. And $15. Pretty reasonable. The Donald Trump edition, the executive order.
Yeah, it's just signed.
Oh, okay. By Trump or you?
No, just it's got my signature on there.
Awesome. I really like this art.
Yeah.
And that guy in the background is kind of goofy looking, but he's very menacing, and he's not goofy looking at all. He's like goofy looking, not goofy. He's scary.
Yeah, it's creepy. Well, who is he?
Yeah,
I want to know more about. I want to know more about the mysterious jester.
It's definitely mysterious. Like, that's one of the most mysterious characters in the book, and his reveal is kind of huge.
But the book is we're not going to find out who all the sneaky characters are, or why she has an axe. I mean,
Why?
Look, and then eventually, by the 8th issue, even though there's only 4, they'll tell you all the secrets.
Right. Yeah, I know, right? It's going to be a while, but I'll get there.
You're doing a t-shirt. You're doing a t-shirt, so you get just the t-shirt, not the t-shirt in the book, but a moment of clarity will be revealed if you get the t-shirt pack.
Oh.
What is in the t-shirt pack? The book and the shirt?
Yeah, just the book and the shirt, yeah.
All right. Ooh, Lightning likes this. Future proofs past. I know where that came from. So this is $100. You get Future Proofs Past. What is that?
Future Proofs Past is the new book plus my old book from 2005.
What is that?
It's called Children of Dust. It's a book I wrote it, had it produced completely, and then printed like 200 copies of it. I have like 6 of them left, and you can claim 5 of them in this.
Now,
oh wow.
This is interesting just for all of us too, that we make these books.
Yeah.
So this is $100. To me, to click on it, I don't know if it gives you more of a description if you click on it.
It does, yeah.
Okay. But it almost that's it. It's great that 2 people are willing to spend $100.
Oh, yeah. I don't like.
Yeah, that's awesome.
When you click on and expand it, I explain that it's for the morbidly curious. So there was at least 2 morbidly curious people out there.
Interesting. Well, curious. $100. I don't know if I'm doing that. All right.
Yeah.
Well, let's see what the next one is. And just the spec in the spectrum. Nice. Become a professional protester. Oh, paid protester.
Yeah, you get to be drawn into the book, and then you also get to hold up a sign with a phrase of your choice as one of the protesters that are featured on pages. So,
so many things to protest.
I know that people could really have fun with that one.
All right.
Yeah, make sure you have final editorial green light on that.
All right, we made it through the protesters. So now is the time that we go over a run through on Monster MD. Let's see how Vaughn does it, and I will try not to interrupt Vaughn too much.
Okay.
And starting with the log line, brother. Let's talk about Monster MD.
Okay. Mine changed. I actually had a different log line when I launched, and I changed it to join Dr. Black and Invisible Assistant Heidi as they get into misadventures in monster medicine. So it's more of a less log line, as much as it is sales line. It's a, hey, jump in here and check this out. It's, which I think you can go either way on your campaign. Like if you have a better sales line than log line, use it. If you have a line that's just going to hook them, that sounds more like a tagline for a poster, like "In space, no one can hear you scream." And that's better than a log line and will intrigue people. Use that. Find the thing that you think is going to be strongest. I shifted mine more from log line to more like energetic sales thing. I forgot why I did that, other than just, you're trying to refine your campaign is why I did it. But I think I saw another campaign who did that line really well that inspired me to do mine, because I'm always studying. I think that's what helps polish your campaign to perfection. Dr. Black is the underground doctor to the local monsters, but he wants out. He's tired of the dangerous job of monster mending. But his invisible assistant Heidi is kidnapped by the masked madman. Huh?
I wouldn't interrupt you, but I guess things happen. This is the first time I've heard you use the phrase monster mending. So maybe that's one of the ones. I think it's very cool.
Cool. I liked it. Little alliteration.
Monster mending. It's very cool, and it plays to the whole maybe dark humor vibe.
Right. While also hopefully sticking out to you at least a little bit, because it's a little funny. It's like kind of funny. It's kind of charming, like a line, and lines like that, and using alliteration that's not too cheesy, because you're kind of walking a tightrope when it comes to that. Use it in that way so that it kind of sticks in people's minds a little bit better.
People know what it is. They've heard them separately before. They've never heard them together before. So it supports the high concept. And it's very memorable. It's iconic. Right. It's not as iconic as the title, but you don't want it to compete with the title either.
Yeah. And then I do it again. I do paranormal patients. So it's like, okay, like I like a little alliteration when you can use it to hit home what you're trying to say, what you're trying to sell. I think it can help. You just got to be sure you don't overdo it or make it too cheesy. With my book, luckily, is a little goofy in some ways, so I felt like a hint of cheese.
Yep, you had like all right.
Hint of zest. That's the way I've always been as a writer, so I just kind of embrace it nowadays too, because I'm doing comics, and in comics I'm allowed to do it. Everything else I've written my whole life, people go, "Oh, that's cheesy," or "That's too cheesy," and it's like, dude, at comics I'm home. Nobody accuses me of cheese. Everybody embraces it and loves it. That's part of why comics rule. So yeah, because the bigger and crazier it is, the more fun a lot of the time. So, but yeah, so I've been working on this since 2015. I had the idea on the shelf, the digital shelf at a folder on my computer for a while, and it was more of a Disney Pixar idea that ended up kind of haunting me. And that's when ideas have legs, when you keep thinking about it, you keep coming back to it. And I finally had a nightmare one night about being inside this cramped big medical truck full of supplies. Lights are kind of falling, like blinking on and off. It's very horrific. I'm working on a werewolf. He's strapped to the table. He's snapping at me. It's kind of ridiculous and funny. And it was kind of horrific. I woke up kind of with a jolt, and I kind of followed that electricity in the air to working and starting on Monster MD.
That's pretty nutty. You had an actual...
It is. I've never done that whole dream thing before. I've always just worked on stuff. So
here we are. Or anything like that. Like, has the premise essentially been the same?
I mean, yeah, I said, I thought about how everything I watched was basically monster hunters are very popular. And I love monster hunters, like I dig them. I've been a fan of different monster hunter stories throughout the years. And then I thought, let's turn it on its head. What if someone had to patch them up? Could I take that and make it cool and fun and different and exciting. Different yet familiar is kind of what I went for with Monster MD, where you get it because you get monsters and you get doctor stuff. So like you combine it to make something hopefully that people think is kind of fun and exciting and kind of different without, you know, just trying to be, you know, trippy or fall off the wagon completely. I still wanted to be marketable, you know.
The concept is just I love it. It's like, yeah, they need to get mended up too. Okay.
They do, right?
You know, obviously, even
die.
the supervillains in the comics have doctors, and the gangsters have got doctors that they go see because they want to stay out of the regular hospitals and that sort of thing. So, and we saw it in the Daredevil series with the Night Nurse. So, it's a great concept, but you're turning it on its head by doing it for monsters, which is kind of awesome.
Yeah. You know, that's funny that you say that, because years ago I thought, man, it'd be so, like, every now and then in a movie you'll see an underground mafia doctor. And my thought was, where's his movie? Like, where is it? That's such a cool, weird, scary job that you could have a lot of great drama and resonance in. You could do like a series like Breaking Bad kind of with something like that. And instead later I ended up going, what if he was a mob doctor to the monsters? And then that's when it became my kind of story that I get really excited about, because I like the supernatural edge, you know.
Yeah. No, it's great.
I really like how it fits with the color, like the coloring and you really created a mood, I think, with this one that really goes with the premise and the storyline. That's just rare. You don't see such a perfect combination, you know.
Yeah, when I saw the artist Marco McCagney's work, I immediately knew he was the right artist for Monster MD. He does stuff for Action Labs that's really remarkable work. Yeah. And he does cute monsters that are also sexy, but also creepy and horrific. He does things like Vamp Blade and Zombie Tramp. They are combinations of humor and horror that are pretty, you know, hard to pull off. And Marco makes it look easy, of course, because he's so talented. So in my heart, I knew this guy's the one. We had to get married immediately. But it was like the type of thing where I was going to give up and not ask him. And I was like, I don't think he, you know, he works on he publishes with Action Labs. He does multiple books. He's probably a very busy guy. And that part I was correct on. What I was wrong about was that he would say no. The guy was like, oh, this sounds cool. Monster MD sounds cool. And I, of course, because I had worked on the previous more indie version of Monster MD, I had stuff to show him. And I was very picky and strategic about what I showed him so he could see that this was pretty cool. You know, I showed him my best, if you will. So because you're pitching in no sense. Huh?
It wasn't a complete waste that you had all that stuff done previously.
Right. And because I worked on it so hard in that indie version, I was helping draw and finish panels myself. It was like my blood, sweat, and tears was in this book. I was adding all these stickers and fun things to the background. In fact, on the page we're on right now, you'll see a little skull and crossbones sticker, a triangle there, and a little graffiti. Like, that's me just being me, like me trying to build the world and the aesthetic of Monster MD. I'm always having my colorists add more rust to the things. I'm just very much for the art direction side of it. I think that you have to, when you make a book where you're hiring an artist or hiring anyone, like they appreciate art direction. Some people are scared to give it, but you should give it. The art direction works well for creating this world, but I think Marco himself just kind of hits it home, so I don't have to draw anymore. Like, it's all him, and that's amazing. It just feels good. So yeah, working on the first version refined my vision for the book. And when I approached this version with Marco, we went from a 75-page book to 114 pages. So it has expanded in big, fun ways. This scene here with the church was not in the original book, where they confront the golem. And the story starts to kick off in interesting ways. So yeah, there's a lot of cool things that I had fun adding to the story, which in a way was a godsend, because I think the story's better. It's not just fluff that I added; it's plot and character development in cool ways that I think really make the story even better than it's ever been. So so in a way, redoing an old story is, I mean, there's power to that, and there's experience to that will help you make a better book and be better versed in your vision. In fact, I'm almost new, because it's like I've been working on this one for so long and polishing it till the chrome came off, to where it's like, dang, will I be able to pull off this much rich vision with my next book? Man, I'm like nervous a little bit, because a lot of people's sophomore effort in film or in music, like, you know how they have a term, sophomore slump.
Mhm.
Yeah, man, that haunts me, haunted by the sophomore slump.
There's a major difference. Is like if a band defines its sound on the first album, and
Yeah.
in the second album, they're going to have continuity with that sound. All right. But those aesthetics and that sound is not an album. You know, it's the framework, it's the language of the album. It's the absolute basic foundation.
Yeah.
In your case, it's different, because you'll see developing something is incredibly difficult. But once the foundation is there, you know, you've been having people ask you, well, tell me more about Heidi. You know, tell me more about I asked you, tell me more about the medical school that this doctor went to. Are there other doctors? Are there other monster doctors? You know, we'll have set up, you know, pieces of, well, his tool chest, how he works. We've already seen the van now. You know, we know what his van looks like. I'm expecting, unless you blow it up, I'm expecting to see that van again, and it better look the same. You know?
Or make it fun and add a few little upgrades, you know?
You'll add some up, but the thing is, adding a few little upgrades is not developing the sound of the band. You know, it's almost doing a remix. So you're in a position to do a remix, because you're telling a big story. You're showing a good chunk of the universe, and now your thing going at it next time is like, all right, what part of Monster MD's life are we going to see, and as he's approaching another story arc? Heidi going to be around or not? I'm sure she will, but we'll see. And then, you know, are there going to be other monsters that carry over? And then as you structure it, as you build the structure, and you're not going to change the tone of the book, really. No. I mean, you could even put in a subplot about his ex-wife or something like that. But that's not going to change the tone of the book. So I think you'll see that you've built a lot of the structures and the tools that you need to then go and reapply them a second time around without it being boring. But you also, I mean, maybe you're going to give him you could give him a crazy motorcycle or something, or a flying, something that flies, so he could then, you know, some flying devicey thing, or a little crazy plane or something to go see people. But still, it's going to still feel like it belongs in this world. So the more we've already defined, I mean, it'll be new, but it's almost like a new member of the family. The family exists. You're not going to change it. COMICSGATE is what COMICSGATE is. It's going to evolve, but it doesn't have to start all over again.
Yeah.
So when you get into it, I think it's going to be fantastic.
Oh, thanks, man.
The look of this character is really cool and everything like that. So the world that this is playing in, is it a world that we know, where there is a possibility to have, like, you know, flying ships, things like that, or is it more like a Neo Scooby-Doo type thing?
It's the world we know that we don't see. So there's no flying ships or anything. It's he's on the outskirts of a city, and doing all these crazy monster encounters are happening. It's got that grounded feel of like he's on the other side of the curtain when it comes to these things, that he sees what we don't.
Oh, he's on the other side of the veil, the broken veil.
Broken veil, baby. You know,
broken veil.
You know, it was very successful. Men in Black and its treatment of the secret world within our world. Yeah. Because you have the grounding of, you know, this from film and from film schools. You have a much easier sell on something to an audience if it's related to a world that is not a completely, you know, complete fantasy world. You know, if it's our world, but a secret version of our world. And if you recall, like in Men in Black, they had some interesting focal points where it's like, okay, well, there was this that airport of sorts where the monsters were traveling, not monsters, aliens were traveling all, you know, back and forth, whatever it is. So you would have some places that would be a high concentration of monsters where monsters hang out. That's where you can see this, not exactly, but being a kind of a cousin to the universe of Hotel Transylvania.
I mean, yeah, it's definitely. I mean, people like you can't get a good picture of monsters in my world. Like I have this idea that they put off some pheromone or radiation or something sonic vibration that like makes it so your camera always blurs when you try to get a shot of them. But I basically approached it as they are a species and there's a lot of subspecies. And you could get into the sci-fi end of it for a long time, kind of like Ghostbusters did with ghosts, and they made up all this great terminology and this like scientific stuff that is like very dry science, and yet you're chuckling at it. Like to me, that's one of the most brilliant, entertaining things, to where I've had a lot of fun coming up with terminology that you're going to hear them say throughout the book. That's going to hopefully crack you up. Because it's got a basis in real science. I did my research, and yet I'm doing my research in science so I can make something goofy sounding. I'm not doing it for serious like stuff. It's kind of funny. I've never really had to do that before. But yeah,
you're making a point to make every page an event too. Something memorable seems to be happening on every page.
I'm trying to make this book just like really come at you hard and fun with all the craziness. When I started on these new pages, there was this feeling of excitement and just great energy. And I think it came out into the final product. This is only just a pinch of what you see in the book. I mean, you guys, there's 114 pages, so there's a lot more to see of this high quality stuff. I think it looks really good. Kind of above and beyond what you see from your regular indie offering. So I'm really proud of my team.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I know
really
I backed it. First thing I did when I started, I definitely backed that. Said I got to have this book.
Thanks, man.
Is impressive, and yeah,
I think people are gonna dig how human it is too. Like the art and everything might just look like, oh, monsters, wacky, but it's a very real and human book with these characters who have real hopes and desires crushed and you know,
daring quality,
real fears. Yeah. I definitely wanted for people to feel charmed by it. I guess I've always grown up liking Universal monsters and liking like horror and comedy mixed, because as a kid of the 80s, I remember when I first started watching horror movies, one of the big things that I saw was American Werewolf in London. And that's one of the great comedy first horror movies to really put the comedy in there and be kind of blatant about it. But yet there were others, but they were more just straight comedies. Like my dad showed me Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein, which is like an older classic film where you see these monsters that you're freaked out of, especially when you're a little kid, they're kind of hilarious. And that movie, I watched that a lot, and I just loved monsters from then on. And then of course, Elvira did her thing in the 80s and was like an icon of the 80s. I had this girlfriend I was dating, and she didn't get Elvira, and I was like, I don't know if we can date anymore, man. Like this is serious. Like, how do you not get Elvira? Like she's the queen of Halloween. She's hilarious and she's sexy and she has good movie taste. Like what's there not to like? And I think she was just jealous. I think she was jealous because she knew she could never be Elvira. But
did you find out when she was like, no, I'm not going to put the costume on, Vaughn?
Yeah, I did not ask her to put on that costume. She was no, man. But I almost convinced one to be Elvira for Halloween, but we decided to be the Addams Family instead. So I was close, you guys. I was close.
We need to understand the responsibility to dress up in these absurd costumes for us.
She said that the costume was too. She actually tried it on, and she said it was too low cut. And I was like, dude, that's the point. It's Elvira. But she didn't want to show that much skin, and that's on her. She doesn't have to show that much skin. She could go do her, So we ended up, which is hilarious, because then she bought a Wednesday Adam costume that was like barely a costume. It was like showing all kinds of skin.
Yeah, but it was her. The difference is it was her decision instead of yours.
Well, yeah.
It's all this game plan. We're gonna find.
And then I was Gomez, which is weird because that's father and daughter. That was weird, but we still won the costume contest. We won the costume contest. It was weird. It was a weird Halloween night. I thought I had fun. It was a good one. But anyway, So Monster MD, I guess I've been loving horror since then. Elvira was a big influence too. So I grew up with horror and comedy. So I'm not surprised that my first big offering is kind of a reflection of all I love. I recommend writers take note of that and look into yourself and go back to when you were a kid and what you loved more than anything and see if that's what you can work with now.
It's a tremendous source of creativity to do things that you're passionate about. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You really can't you should not get in the way of things you're passionate about. Just don't ever hurt other people. But other than that, do what you're passionate about. Because otherwise that's working against you rather than working for you, which is the difference between success and failure probably. All right.
Also, make sure you're in love with it because you're going to be in the world of comics. You're going to be stuck with it for a long time. You're going to be working on this for so long. So make sure you love it. Make sure you're enjoying the hell out of it.
Yeah, it helps. It really, really helps. And then also other people want to help you too, but kind of only if you're passionate about it. We have to get 1,000 backers because if he does, then we all win. So we got to do that. However we do it, we got to get it done. But it's because you care so much about this, who the hell would want to do it? It's like, all right, he doesn't even care. So why should we bother?
Yeah.
But that's what's important about it. So let's talk about the tiers. You've been adding to tiers and doing interesting stuff with tiers.
I guess I did. I guess I did add a few, huh? Some people requested things and I give it to them. That's my philosophy. So
yeah.
I always love it when they have a sketchbook. So I'm making a sketchbook for this and compiling all this cool stuff and just trying to make it like the most fun, cool package you can imagine. So I've been compiling a sketchbook for a long time, since almost the beginning of production. And I even took stuff from the old version of Monster MD, so you won't just be wondering what that looked like. You'll get a few shots of that so you can understand like how far the book has come, which I think is kind of cool to see. I would want to see that. I always did that on this campaign. I'd ask myself, what would I want to see? You know, so digital deluxe, you get both the regular book in digital form. I kind of wanted mine to have a, like feel like you're getting a cool bonus and like you're not missing out on the sketchbook. I feel like some people might want to punish you and not give you the sketchbook if you do digital, but I'm trying to give instead of punish. So, signed comic book. Yeah, I showed my signature in the graphic here because I feel like that's kind of cool and like people would want to see it. I don't know why. I felt like it made it look more professional. So that might be a tip for some people out there who might do a campaign. People asked for a badass t-shirt, so I gave them a badass t-shirt. Let's see what else. Signed poster. A lot of people I think would dig just the poster. So that's awesome that people have been interested in that. 2 comics, just in case you want to sell one or give one to a friend or Elvira, whoever you want. And then comic book, sketchbook, and poster. So there's like kind of like your this is like where you don't miss out. You know what I mean? Like this is where you get all the goodies that give you the full Monster MD package almost, because for the full dose, you get a t-shirt, you get your name in the book, you get the posters, you get everything. It's the full dose. People who run shops have been asking for 10 books. So here we are with 10 books. The Monster Mash.
That's 50% off.
Yeah, that's a lot of money off. So overdose, you get up.
You need to give that kind of a discount. Realistic. I know there are people giving lesser discounts to retailers, and people are figuring out what works.
Yeah.
But realistic, if a store buys something for $1, they need to be able to sell it for $2.
Yeah.
And they really do. And there will be some retailers that buy stuff with less of a discount, but if you don't want to beat people up, then you don't want to beat up retailers, let them make some money. And what's nice with your book is if somebody buys, it's a good investment for anybody really to buy 10 of these for $125 plus a little bit of shipping, because it's not going to sell for less than $25 on eBay. People are going to be looking for this book. So
Man, it would be so amazing to walk into a comic book store and see your book sitting there. That would be magical. Yeah.
Watch my video, AdamEveryday.com. Make sure you subscribe to my video channel. You're on my video, but my YouTube channel, AdamEveryday.com. I did a video just yesterday talking about different distribution options that are real distribution options from other than just Indiegogo. And we kind of all know these. Some of them may not be familiar. Some of them may not seem 100% realistic, and they are and they're not, depending on whose book it is. But for a book like a Monster, and for any of the three of these books, they're all realistic options. A local store near you, if you know, especially if you know any local comic stores, if you just let them know and say, "Hey, guy, I want to do a signing because you're local here. Is it all right if I come in? Let's make a day." And you show them some of the pages and you show them the success of the campaign, even where it's at now, they will have you in to sign. There's no question. You'll get to meet kids and sell the books. The retailers generally don't expect to make money either from stuff like that.
Oh, man. I'm scared to go in to sign. Adam, I'm scared. I was like, no one would show up. My mom would show up. My mom would show up.
Books as a publisher that had nothing to do with writing, that were kind of like, what, are you related to this book? Well, I created the character. And that was, you know what? Let's talk. We can talk more about it, but we certainly talk about it in our CG Delta publisher group, and other people can find it on CG Delta by looking for the CG Delta Twitter handle, and then getting invited into the group. It doesn't take too much to get invited, and we just want it for independent comics publishers. But you just need a little experience with it, Vaughn, and you'll see people will love the opportunity to meet the guy who wrote it. People, again, we talked about this earlier, fans really love the opportunity to live vicariously a little bit through a creator. Yeah. And when you're emotional and you're passionate about what you're talking about, you guys, all three of you guys are like that. But people want to know what it feels like to make the books and how is it. And it's a thrill for them to meet us. It's exciting for fans to get to meet us, especially if you have the physical book. Then you're signing that like rather than signing a postcard. But if you're sitting there with 100+ page of beautiful color graphic novel, and you want to come into a shop and say, "Hey, you know what? I want to do some signs. I want to meet some people." You know what? They have days of the week. This is the one benefit of retail stores. They do get a lot of traffic, so they have a day where they're busy, and they come in, and you have a table, and you do it.
That would be so funny at my local comic shop, because I have a feeling that the guy who runs it thinks I'm a filthy casual. Like, I think he thinks that I'm like just full of shit. And so like if I came in and I was like, boom, I just made this sweet comic book, what do you think about that? He might be like, whoa. Yeah, he always gives me a weird look and treats me funny, and I'm like, does he know I'm COMICSGATE? What's going on here? But I think he's just a grump. I just think he's an old grump who's in a comic shop too long. That's all. I think he needs to lighten up. But maybe I'll make him happy with my book. We'll see.
I would more rather just see like nobody wants doxing, but what state are you located in?
I'm in Oklahoma, Tulsa, Oklahoma, man. It says it on my campaign. I would actually have a bone to pick with that new Watchmen trailer, because they made it take place in Tulsa, and I'm a little pissed about that.
Well, here's what I want to say. First of all, as far as that wacky old retailer meanie or whatever, just go
he's
in
fine.
Go where you're wanted, because some people you could travel an hour if you had to and go somewhere you wanted.
I'll still ask him though, because part of the process is rejection. I'm fine if he says no. I'm fine. Like, I've been selling this book and campaigning. Like, you know how many emails I've sent off to horror websites, horror news websites, and comic book news websites. I have coded the internet with Monster MD, you guys, and I think only like one person has responded from all of them.
Wow.
Like I'm fine with it. It's just what I expected, but you have to do it anyway. I don't care. Like, it has to be done to feel like I gave this campaign my all, and if I get rejected, that's fine.
My 2 cent suggestion, so this is the power of being organized too, and what you could do with the CG Delta group is, if we knew of a few stores that were happy to have signing events and were supportive of it, and it's an event for them, it doesn't cost anything to them, and it makes the store look cool. We don't know of any stores in Oklahoma that are cool, but I don't think it's.
I like my shop. Actually, I'm actually surprised of how many comic shops are in Oklahoma. I'm actually or in Tulsa even.
Yeah, really,
I'm surprised. There's a lot of comic shops that are still around from when I was a kid, and they're creepy, dude. They're creepy because like the guy got really old, and I grew up and everything. And like, I came back. I've been away from Tulsa, you understand, for like over 15 years. Right. And and before that, I just stopped going to the comic shop in the 90s. So it's been a while. It's been a minute. And I come back in and like he has the same books on the shelves that like were there when I was a kid, and they're just like covered in dust and like sitting there. It's weird. It's like a museum from when I was a kid. I could film like scenes in there, like it's already ready to go. It's so weird. But yeah, there's surprisingly a lot of comic shops that I live close to. And I'm just, it's awesome. Really. It's awesome where I can go and look for comics or used comics around Tulsa. It's badass.
Here's what I really think you ought to try to do, and it's not a big deal, is send a Twitter message to Peter Cimetti and say, hey, Peter, I'm looking to do a store signing, but I've never done one before. Do you know of any cool indie shops or indie-focused shops in my area or in my state of Tulsa, Oklahoma? And you have any other advice about me doing a signing?
Yeah.
Because he is a really good man, and I think he'd like make a suggestion like that.
Yeah.
And I think just for the group of us, it would be very helpful for us to have that information, not even just like in Oklahoma, but like he'll write something that says, look, I think you should handle it like this. Just know that the store owner is going to say that most likely, so you have some familiarity with it. Because I think you would have a lot of fun running around with that, with a book and a few of these stores, and eventually a couple of conventions and stuff too.
That would be great. Yeah, it's all going to grow. It's all going to grow. It's all going to happen, and I'm going to be able to go to conventions, go to, it's going to happen. It's all building. It's all building up. So good times ahead. I can't wait for my next projects. I've been working really hard on all that stuff. So and maybe working on Monster MD or Shinobi Sasquatch versus Monster MD will hopefully be happening soon, because I think Cal is about to hit. He's about to hit 40. He's a little ways away. Last I checked. We're almost there.
Shinobi Sasquatch. Everybody should back Shinobi Sasquatch. Let's get Cal to 40. So you don't have to go out of pocket. Oh, 39,268. Okay. This is a beautiful campaign too.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Outrageous.
The art's just like, ugh.
It's so detailed. It's taken him a long time, but it's definitely going to be worth it.
Yeah.
How many days does he spend on a page?
It's going to be a cult classic, this book, man. It's going to be a cult classic, but then people are going to be like coming back to buy it like when they're famous. I feel like,
cult, so that,
that's
it's
right.
already.
We are a cult.
That's cult too.
And yet, Shinobi Sasquatch fights cultists. So, tricky business.
Very cool.
You could tell that from the logo that Rob is a tattoo artist. You could tell that he's has a tattoo background, or he's done tattoos to make ends meet for I don't know how long. But like, could you imagine a guy with a hand this good, like tattooing you? Like perfect art.
Yeah,
it's perfect. Yeah, it's pretty amazing to think about. I wonder if he might get tattoo requests after this book, man.
Did you see the video where he's all jacked and shit?
Yeah,
guy's pretty ripped, man.
Yeah, it's good. It's good to stay. If you're gonna be an artist, like try to stay fit too. I think that helps you, survive just squatting at a table all day. Like you have to, like you said, it's a sedentary life. It's tough.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, Shinobi Sasquatch is awesome. Lowercase comics.
Guys, you know what? We got 2 hours into this. Here's what my plan is. I'm gonna do a quick run through of College of the Dead, and we don't have to spend as much time on me. I'm really happy we got to talk about all these projects. We even got a little Shinobi Sasquatch in there, which was very cool. And then we can maybe just talk a little bit about whatever else we're excited about, whether it's The Watchmen or I'll tell you what I think of COMICSGATE Phase 3, which it's a very half-speed Tucci type of situation. I'm going to be pushy about it. And then we'll get a little.
Can we talk about Watchmen, the Watchmen trailer?
You want to, so yes, we certainly can.
Okay, let me know when we can. I have things to say.
I kind of want to hear what you have to say about it. All right, Watchmen trailer. Straighten this out.
Guys,
Camera's on you.
The Watchmen trailer is insane, creepy propaganda, like evil, and I feel like it's personally exploiting where I live, because Tulsa is not just like, how often do you hear about a story or a film, especially like a big high profile one taking place in Tulsa? Like,
I do not.
Never.
you don't.
Well,
The reason it takes place in Tulsa, I could be wrong. I'll say that outright. I could be wrong. I believe the reason it takes place in Tulsa is because he wants it to take place in a place that has a history where we had a race riot and a lot of people died. And I think he's going to bring that up to make this kind of, racially charged exploitation stuff out of Watchmen. Wow. And we in Tulsa, it's just commonly known. It's like part of our history. It's like a blemish on our history, where you learn the lesson of the Tulsa race riot. It's just there, and to this day, SJW sharks smell the blood in the water from that old wound, and they're sticking their finger in it, and they still write articles about it. To this day, I'll see articles about the Tulsa race riot used to, not for us to learn from, but just to stir up resentment and nastiness and say, we live in this horrible country and, we never learn from our mistakes and try to make things right ever later, and it's exploited. And I feel like with the way they've approached Watchmen, and you see in the trailer, she's talking to her daughter about world's unfair and and they're going to make this a very racially divisive show, I think. And it's going to be, it looks like the Rorschachs are straight up like alt-right gun-toting white supremacists, like KKK guys. I mean, and they come and they kill the woman, the lead's husband, with their shotguns and like the whole Southern thing. It's Tulsa is not like this. It has that blemish on its past, but the way we talk about race and race riots, I'm not seeing racism. I'm not seeing it just kind of bothers me because this LA guy living in his bubble, once again, doesn't really get Tulsa or what is going on. He's just going to virtue signal about our race riot probably. And look, I look great. Oh, wow. It's going to be really, I don't know. I hate that he's exploiting my hometown for this racially divisive crap, I guess, while also screwing over Watchmen, because of course we all knew they were going to do that. I mean, we knew that. I guess they decided to go big or go home on that because they hired this guy that I also hate. And so it might also be because I hate the guy Damon Lindblom or whatever his name is. Lindblom. That guy. Oh, worst writer. Like, he is the most high profile, highly paid, probably one of the more sought after writers in all of science fiction right now, you guys. Oh. And all he did was he helped write Lost and with J.J. Abrams, and that's why he exploded like this, and he's getting to do all this stuff because Lost was a hit, but Lost was a hit by accident. Like, he really doesn't know how to write. Like, he and J.J., they're still like in first year writing school. They don't know what they're doing yet. And it's really frustrating to someone like me who'd worked so hard and tries to master his craft and has to build himself up brick by brick, that they got to, they're getting to do this. So he's getting to do Watchmen. And of course he's turning it into this stuff. He's the guy who wrote Ultimate Hulk versus Wolverine. And it took him 3.5 years to write it because he was like, comic writing's hard, you guys. And I was just like, God, what a jackass. Anyway. That's my spiel. Don't exploit my hometown to make racially divisive nastiness. It's not nice. We accept that we have some dark history that we learned from, and I think we're gonna do better from it, guys. We don't need that shit. But lately, the SJWs, man, they just keep rearing it up. It's nasty.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that apparently he really doesn't understand the characters of Watchmen either, because to me, Rorschach is not so much alt-right. To me, he seems more Weather Underground than anything. Yeah. When the Weather Underground was very, they were ultra-liberal, anti-government. They were a milder, more professional version, I guess you could say that, of Antifa.
Yeah. Yeah, and back in the day when they'd interview more about it, wouldn't he just call them a Republican or call them a conservative? Like, he didn't call them a fascist, I don't think.
Right.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Like, because the left is all over Twitter right now going, Rorschach's always been a fascist. It's cool to make, they think their dog's a fascist, but it's just like, I saw him as like,
they don't know, they have no idea what that word means, Vaughn, I'll be honest.
Yeah, they really don't, man. But it's just I feel like you're right. This guy, because of his far left's like virtue signaling, he's gonna once again miss the point of Alan Moore's work yet again, and it's the way it goes. Sucks.
Yeah.
Are you watching it?
Here's my take on what you just said.
I'm not gonna watch it.
I worked on this.
It'll make me too mad.
I worked on this. So what they're doing, it's not that they don't understand what Alan Moore was trying to go for. It's not that they are concerned that they think, you know what, let's tell a good story and really change the world and have people relate to this. There's something called social impact entertainment. Now, I did like a 15-minute video on this a couple of weeks ago and shared it around to our friends. And obviously we all make videos and see a lot of videos, but there is, it's not individual social justice warrior producers that make a decision like, I'm going to ruin a franchise. I'm going to take Terminator and make it a woman. And I'm going to make it so that it looks like a woman that you can't really discern their gender, because who says what gender is anyway? And then everyone just says, oh yeah, sure. We just destroy alter our franchise in such a way that it's not a franchise anymore. So what social impact entertainment is, as it says here, is it takes and acts in a variety of mainstream entertainment forms. It's primarily in films and TV. We also know it's obvious that it's in comics. And its agenda is to have social impact as part of its entertainment value. Now, the long and the short of it is it's a discipline. It's a group of producers that get together, and they're like impact producers. Impact producers. A common theme in a field of social impact entertainment is that mainstream film production companies employ so-called impact producers, so-called in quotes. These are like the communist Chinese watchers of entertainment producers. It's the only thing that it's similar to from our experience to understand it, who specialize in impact-oriented distribution campaigns, which can often include community screenings. You remember that from Captain Marvel, where they're having absurd screenings of taking girls out of school in public schools to take them to go see the Captain Marvel movie as if that was socially important, and screenings for legislators as well as impact measurement and evidence building. So
these people invent this stuff so that they can control how we create and express ourselves. And it's not morally correct. It's wrong. This is wrong. They're trying to make it down to a science because they're evil scientists, except they don't usually care about science, but and they're trying to control the direction our culture goes through our entertainment and our stories.
Yeah, that's just like they control news narratives. And I'm sure Wes might agree with this. Wes, you might not like this because it's too close to your concerns. At least it's not your character's main fault.
No.
So they utilize what they call the theory of change. If you want to see where the theory of change like linked from what in social impact entertainment, this is not just me. It's they cite each other that they utilize theory of change. So theory of change is very scientific. They are scientific. This is hard science. Theory of change is something that was developed in the mid-1990s. Now, it was based on something called the theory of constraints, which was created in the 1980s. But in any event, the theory of change, which is their version of it that they use, is deliberately, here you go, is a specific type of methodology for planning, participation, and evaluation that is used in companies, philanthropy, for non-for-profit, and government sectors to promote social change. Theory of change defines long-term goals and then maps backward to identify necessary preconditions. This is the scientific method, which is what we use for hard science to discern how things happen and how to make things happen and how to measure improvement. So when you look at something and it's like, oh, wow, you took a franchise that could have just done like a $500 million box office, and we all know it's not going to do more than $200 million. You just lost money. Like, why would you do a thing like that? Well, it's not because some producer feels like it. It's because these guys literally have measurement systems that do not relate to the audience loves it and talks about it positively, or relates to making a lot of money. They sit around a table like these people are, and they're saying, listen, we need to make sure that there are no heroes like there used to be heroes, that there aren't merit-based accomplishments.
God.
And one of the freakiest things about all, and don't, yeah, you can take it from me because I'm fantastic and I'm brilliant, but at the same time, just look at my video on this called the COMICSGATE, the response to social impact entertainment. Because in it, I provide all the links that I source off all the videos. And wait till you see the similarities with how the Chinese government does it in their country and how they also control the import and export of all their entertainment and how they bought Valiant Comics outright. You think Heather Antos is desired there because, they want to diversify? This is so pervasive and so insane. They do not even talk about diversity. They don't talk about we've got to have representation because everyone needs to see themselves. They know that's silliness. They don't refer to it in their industry stuff. They have, I'm sure you're familiar, Vaughn, that they have like industry events for film and things like that.
Yeah.
They don't refer in the industry event material. They talk about social change and they talk about priorities, but they don't talk about the retail side of this that we hear from SJWs, the Renfields running around doing things for them, saying, yes, we must have inclusion. We must have, like, they don't talk about that. That's the freaking part. They only talk about we need to, in a very nuts and bolts way, move forward our agenda for positive reasons. And you could put any ammunition in that gun you want to, if you want to put in their next, whatever they're pushing next. And
remember, man, it's a theory. It's a theory. They're literally hiring how many people and working nonstop and influencing all these creators in Hollywood to go along with this. And it's just a theory, man.
The reason they call it theory, and you're too optimistic, to be honest with you, they don't mean theory of change in that this is a theory that it could have a positive result. What they mean is that it's not. So in theory of constraints, the reason they call it the theory of constraints rather than the law of constraints is
because you have to.
In hard science, there are very few laws. There are a lot of theory because certain things are not provable empirically, but you have a common result that happens. So the idea is they do this stuff in a linear, results-oriented way that they measure the results from to make sure that there are none of the kinds of heroes that they want to have in popular culture. To make sure that when we have these nice young children and they want to have a hero, that they don't have the right kind of hero, the kind of heroes that we grew up with.
Hey, hold up. Who are these people, man? They must be stopped. This is wrong. Like, who are they? Do they show up at your, like, at Marvel and DC and go, hey, like, our organization wants to, like, check in and see how you're doing with our planning and methodology? Is that happening?
I'm going to say that, first of all, who are they? I'll show you who some of these handsome fellas are. And you'll say,
my God, dude. These people are, they're like killing our arts, man. They're killing our art.
Right. There's nothing wrong with this guy. Jeff Cole. Check him out. You can see my screen, right?
Oh, dude, come on.
Cole's a philanthropist, social entrepreneur. All right. Working to bring to his vision of a sustainable world of peace and prosperity.
Oh my God. He sounds like he's from a lizard planet or something. I will bring to life a vision of a sustainable world of peace and prosperity.
When he says sustainable, that means that the wealthy and the powerful, or mostly just the powerful, because
they're the only ones that sustain it.
Well, he's a globalist. He's a globalist.
Yeah.
Isn't that what that means?
And yes, the key word in all these things with these people, always look at the word philanthropist.
Yeah.
When that right there is a dead ass giveaway. Right there, that they're into some crazy shit.
You like this? This is one of my links. So since 1999, Jeff has created an innovative portfolio of philanthropic and commercial enterprises, each a distinctive social catalyst. What are you catalyzing? What are you changing? I don't like it.
I'm here to change your culture to the liberal, like far left culture that I think it should be. Dude, let me tell you something though. Sometimes I have these fantasies about these philanthropists who have way too much money, so they have to be. It's like I always feel like, what if like someone does it, but he hates it, and he just wants to like have a beer and like throw some trash into the ocean for like a day? Like he just like what if like he pretends like he's into it, but really he hates it and finds it really like pretentious and boring, you know, and he wants to get away from it, but he has so much money that there's so much pressure on him to like be the philanthropist.
You're very optimistic.
I know. It's just funny thoughts.
Funny, but and you could turn it the other way. It would be funny, but these are like the demons that
make a good comedy with Paul Rudd.
These are like the demons from the Chango book.
I could actually buy the concept that they don't believe all the shit they're selling. I mean, I think it's just they're selling it up to us little people, and we're supposed to follow along, you know, like idiots. But I don't believe that they actually believe in everything they're doing. I think they're just selling us some BS. And also, I don't think it's an accident that, you know, they lose public office and then they're sort of amping up the private sector now to sort of throw out that ideology at us. You know, since they don't hold public office, they're gonna kind of push it on us through our entertainment and academia and whatever else. You know.
Well, if they can make, like, I have Nike sneakers that I like to wear a lot. If they can make the Nike sneaker logo mean something different to me, and I don't throw my sneakers away, then they control me on some level, not on a 100% level, but on a 2% level. And that's enough. That's a start, because they're working on me in other categories. Yes, of course, they're absolutely doing that. Look at this fella. So Jeff launched with $10 million, either from him, from whomever. Money doesn't matter to these guys. They control access to money. So he created, luckily, the Skoll Center for Social Impact Entertainment. And where's the perfect place for it? Oh, at the UCLA School of Theater, Film, and Television.
What?
On UCLA Film School.
These people are so fucking organized, you guys. These people are like, they're like, they are the system. Like they are. They're not just like trying to work their way in. Like they are the system.
Well, don't worry, because the work of the Skoll Center for Social Impact Entertainment is organized around 3 pillars. One, they want to research on a global scale that provides a structure. Listen to this. Listen to this. What I told you before. It's creepy. It provides a structure to measure the influence of social impact storytelling. So it's its own method of storytelling.
You know what's? I want to chime in on this.
Yeah.
In the 80s, Reagan and all them wanted to prove that porn did damage to you somehow. Like somehow it's going to hurt you somehow mentally. It's going to make you more sexual, or it's going to make you rapey, or it's going to do something to you that's negative. So they researched it. They threw a ton of money at it, and they couldn't find anything. They had to give up, and they were like, okay, well, we couldn't prove anything. These people believe essentially what they did, that media is tied to how you behave and how you're going to, and that what your values are going to be. But I don't think they have much science supporting this, no matter how scientific they try to sound. I think they're full of shit. I think they're just trying to sound like they know what's up. They're trying to make this sound like it's very real. That's how they trick you into going along with them and have branched out like an octopus, because they're like, do you want to help our research that on a global scale that provides the structure measure the influence of social impact storytelling. Like, it sounds like serious science stuff, but it's all like Scientology. You know what I mean?
I disagree, but I will explain why. Their agenda is to take Star Wars and have it mean something different than what we thought it was supposed to be. And to take it away, it's to create a blank slate. It's to take away Luke Skywalker as a hero.
You can't do that. You can't do that.
They did.
Like, if you do that in well, you're right. No, you're right. I agree with you. They did that in those new films. They completely did that. But I'm saying, in the grand scheme of things, they haven't, in the terms of humans and the heroes we pass on to each other, and the stories we decide to pass on, and the ones we don't keep passing on. Like, heroes like him will never die. They'll never go away. We'll always have Luke Skywalker. It doesn't matter how many movies they make. They can make 1 million movies with him not in it, and with, Rey taking a dump on him and him drinking green milk and crying in the background. It doesn't matter. We're still going to have the originals that tell this story of this great hero that we could pass on to the kids instead of the new ones. You have a choice which stories you want to tell people or enjoy with your family or whatever,
For as long as you can control media,
But I think
it does impact a large portion of the population that that do eat this stuff up. I think it definitely does have an effect. So I can't say that it. I mean, to us who can see through it, obviously it won't be as effective, or if even at all. But I mean, to a lot of people in this world, it is going to be effective. It is going to create, kind of shape their thought processes, as they're divulging whatever information or social, situation.
When there's a shared cultural knowledge of something, like when I say dinosaur, we all know what a dinosaur is. But if I say, super ninja dinosaur, we also know what that is. And if I tell you a story about a super ninja dinosaur, there's a cultural awareness altogether about what something is and how cool it is. So if I ever said to Vaughn, hey man, did you see, like we were talking about The Godfather before, like, hey, have you seen The Godfather? Immediately you have that positive association. You know what it is. You know how it's cool. You know in what way it's cool. That's the social reference, and it has there's a cultural appreciation for that. But as stuff gets blank slated and gets wiped out, as they like to destroy language in all of these big brother totalitarian societies, that stuff loses more and more and more of its luster, and they start to eliminate things. Like the scene they eliminated in Toy Story,
just to change values a little bit. Yeah. But then the people, what do? I think we do what COMICSGATE does. It's like we react. We stand up and say no more, man. It's interesting. Right. Like,
what happens is, this is where it becomes crucial.
Pardon me for a second. I'm gonna have to bow out because my wife just called me.
Yes, get some sleep. Great night with you, man.
All right.
Thank you so much.
It was fun.
Yeah, nice talking to you, Cesar. And great suggestions and a lot. I appreciate all the positive and constructive feedback. It means a lot to me. And great congratulations on having your Indiegogo out, and I wish nothing but the best for you. Make sure your campaign gets funded. I'll definitely take a closer look at it myself, and I'll definitely give it a. I'll select the perk, and whatever. Vaughn, I already backed your project. I'm just waiting for the thing to come out. I can't wait. And College of the Dead is another one, Adam. So I haven't forgotten about you either.
We'll get to that the next night.
All right, buddy.
Thank you, Cesar. Thanks for giving us time.
Take care. Thanks a lot.
Yes, Cesar.
Take care, man.
Yeah, he's good people. I like Cesar.
Yeah.
Vaughn, they know what they're doing. They're not saying that they're going to create a better world. All they're doing is destroying franchises. But what becomes crucial for us is getting into phase 3 of COMICSGATE. We have our stories. We have passionate creators. We're not going to stop telling our stories. we need to phase one was we needed to identify the problem, and nobody did that more beautifully than Richard Meyer, and he continues to with his video pointing out problems in mainstream culture. Number two was make books, which you're a huge part of. Wes is a part of. I'm a part of.
Yeah.
He's a part of, and a lot of other ones of us are a part of. We're like that the second generation army when, if you remember, Dark Knight was like too old, and then all these other Batmans. Like, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. Anyway, I think it happened in my memory. It happened. In any event, we're the guys making the new stuff and the good stuff, the stuff that people care about, that they're passionate about. We're obviously not involved with this ridiculous social impact entertainment. We're not having any part of that. We're making good stories. We're creating heroes. We're creating fun entertainment.
Like we're the new rebels in comics. We're like the new grunge era. We're like the grunge era. We're like the young. That's why they hate us so much. They're so scared of us. Like, if they weren't scared of us, we wouldn't have all this nastiness and craziness and stuff going on in court and stuff.
Absolutely. Like, we're out there telling the real truth, making stuff happen. Phase three is expanded distribution. That's what I'm calling for. And you'll see it in my video. I talk about like 15 or so other places we could be selling our comics. Signings and comic stores is one of them. And a lot of these things none of us have experience with. But for example, foreign rights to a book like Monster MD, guaranteed sale. What is foreign rights? Foreign rights is just very simply somebody wants to buy the Italian rights so they can publish your book in Italian language. They pay you usually a flat fee against the royalty, sometimes just a flat fee, depends on the publisher. But Italy, Spain, France, South America, fucking A, of course, really. What do you mean? Look, it's just good. So I don't have names, like I can't give you the names, like let's just email these people. I will start to collect some of that info. College of the Dead, I had an offer for Spanish, I think. I have to talk to those people. But we need that information. Why is that such a big deal? Well, because maybe we only get like $25 a page, but in 3 different countries times 100 pages, like that's 7,500. You know, it adds up quick. It also adds cachet to the property. And it also would be a really cool thing for the fans to see stuff expanding out there. But yeah, absolutely. For decades, comics have been sold into other markets.
That's cool because they actually demand them, you know? That's cool.
What's that?
I like that they actually demand them because, damn.
Yeah.
Like, I want this book all over, you know?
Well, that's how it's going to happen. You know, it's not going to happen because we're going to go door to door to door to door to door. You know, it's going to happen because there's nothing wrong with doing signings and doing some direct sales to retail stores. But of course, a book like yours would sell in bookstores as well. You know, how do you do that? Like, there's answers to those questions. But you have to start with a list of places of like, well, why don't we do some of that? You know, why don't we offer it to comic book stores? Oh, well, Diamond's tough to deal with. Like, well, yeah, I've dealt with them before. They are a little tough to deal with, but there are ways of doing it. I mean, there are other publishers that already sell to Diamond through Diamond. So, you know, they can make a deal. And there's guys who have a good enough reputation where, yeah, you'll get paid. So you get the books out there. Like Brian Pulido is selling his Lady Death book. Every time he puts out a book, Lady Death or any of his other titles go to comic stores. Well, it's not miraculous. You know, we've done it before. So Indiegogo is a little miraculous, but the other channels are established channels, even if they're small channels. For a guy like Ethan Van Sciver, it may not pay to put his books out through comic stores, but most people are not exactly in his strata. But even in his strata, I think it makes some sense. But he's always like the cutting edge, and he's made some. He has his own reasons for what he wants to do, why he wants to do it, and it's fine and it makes sense. But at the same time, like, you know, a 100-page color book like yours at $25 retail, especially if you had it planned out by the time you were printing your book, you know, printing an extra 2,000 copies is not an expensive thing to do. It would probably cost, you know, maybe $2,000 or something at the end of your print run. It might cost a little bit more. It might cost $3,000, but not a hell of a lot more. So if you were doing additional extra copies at the time you were publishing your book, you'd be able to sell those into stores at probably $10 a unit to you. So I mean, just doing some of the math, like, yeah, you might wind up with a $20,000 invoice on a $3,000 cost. There's a significantly different, that's profitable. It's money. So because I have familiarity with some of these things, I may go more formally into looking at, like, can I partner with some of the guys in doing this and provide the infrastructure to do it? Or I might just find a list of companies we could work with and just pass it along. I'm not actively looking to do it, but I know that for phase 3, we need to be in more than just Indiegogo, even if it's just for the case that Indiegogo will not last forever. When I went into comics, the big innovation was direct market distributors selling to comic stores, not returnable. Comics were sold on newsstands for like 60 or 70 years or something. And then it all went away on a returnable basis. We sold a little on newsstands, didn't really work for us. Peter Cimenti is selling some more on newsstands now. It's probably not viable for us, really. But when there were 13 comic distributors, you weren't dependent on just one comic distributor. But then eventually, for a variety of reasons, they all went away, and there was one comic distributor. And they still exist. They still pay bills. And again, like Brian Polito does, he sells to comic book stores that then expose Lady Death again, who are like, oh, I didn't know that existed anymore. I haven't looked at one, but I guarantee his website's prominently there. He's very good with that. And that when people buy those Lady Death comics, they're able to then go and be aware of the next crowdfunding because they go on a website.
Yeah.
So then they're going to be a bigger part of the next property. And of course, he's selling his crowdfunding first. So we need to be aware of these things because we need to get out there to build the properties, build the brands, have more people find out about COMICSGATE Comics.
One thing that Brian Polito has done extremely well is his campaigns have all these variants and a lot of crazy collector's options for the super fans, so that every single campaign they keep coming back and they end up getting those big packages of tons of collector rare books that you could only get at your campaign. Like, he really has a collector's following,
Oh yeah, and you do that. I mean,
clever thing.
There's always an undercurrent of interest in something like that. He does a little better than average because not only has he been cultivating it for years and he's thought through how to sell that for years, but like the first Lady Death comic was a chromium cover.
Yeah.
So he was doing special covers from back in the day. But also there's always an undercurrent of that. I can tell you right now, if you did a hardcover version of your book and just did the same cover, hardcover, or maybe a virgin hardcover, never been logoed, with no logo on it, you could retail that for at least $50. And you would sell some number of them. I don't know how many, more than 10. And you're upcharged. It depends who's doing your printing, but you're upcharged to do, 50 or 100 hardcovers is not going to be a ton of money. And you'll sell them out all eventually. So a hardcover is a great way to do a specialty version of a book. Yeah. It's not so much that he has cultivated a following. It's just when people see those options, they are interested in those options. People are interested. If you had a page of original artwork, they'd pay $300 for that. They would pay $500 for the cover of that. It's just when our guys,
people like them. Yeah, people dig them. People like hardcovers. I just didn't want to. I kept going back and forth on a hardcover for my campaign, and then I was just like, dude, I don't think I'm going to make enough money. I don't think I'm going to make enough money. So I wanted, if I was doing 100K, I'd probably start thinking about, hardcover stretch. Yeah.
Yeah. Specialty versions, there's a lot. I'm pretty familiar with specialty versions because we were doing, we would solicit a book. This is like in month 6 of publishing for us. We would solicit a regular edition biography book, and then we would do a signed by the creator version the following month. We would generate as much revenue on the signed specialty version as we did on the regular version. And by the time we were doing the signed specialty version, it was all profit. So it was like, 80 or 90% net margin of revenue because we already sold it. We had one window to sell, and then we had another window to sell in the following month. So there's a lot you can do with specialty versions. The things you don't want to do, though, obviously, is exploit. You don't want to exploit the fans, and you don't want to overdo it on that kind of stuff. So you have to develop some familiarity with it. your hardcovers could have probably, it depends how you wind up printing, but most printers have a way to do even a very few number of hardcovers if you want to do a specialty separate cover now, because the advances in printing allow you to do.
Yeah, I think Narwhal might have done something like that. Or Noro, he got his regular book printed for his campaign, and then he got some hardcovers at the same time so he could do a second campaign.
And those were probably, very few. You could look.
Yeah, limited, I think.
So you reach out to him and see, and maybe you wind up doing something like that after it closes.
Man, it would be so cool to have a hardbound version of something I wrote. That would be an amazing feeling.
Before you go to print, I'll make sure I force it on you. We could get, even if for your own internal purposes, but you could think like a Monster MD after party campaign, where it's like, look, the campaign was great. We just shipped our books, and I was happy to do a hardcover. I want to do 100 of these. That's all I'm doing. I signed them, and here's why it's also extra cool. And they're $100, and you just sell 100 of them, or you do 250 of them, whatever it's going to be. Your printer, whoever you use, could give you a hardcover variant very inexpensively. I mean, maybe $10. It should not, at any stretch, cost more than $10 a unit to do maybe even as little as 50 of them. So as you're talking to printers, we'll ask them. We'll just ask them.
Couldn't hurt to ask. Couldn't hurt.
No. But our phase 3 is these extra physical outlets, places we can sell other books to. It's the foreign reprints. It's the selling to comic stores, maybe in 48-page saddle stitch versions. It's getting our stuff in more places so that we can get to phase 4, which is to replace these guys. They're not good people, the social impact entertainment people. They're not even trying to produce content. They're just trying to produce heartless, soulless propaganda that will destroy and wither the entertainment medium that they have possessed. They want to kill the host so that you don't have that vehicle to tell those stories. They don't want people having access to those narratives. They don't. So they're very, very weak competitors. But we have to be wherever they are, whether it's film, video games, TV. We have to be there. Crowdfunding will help, and crowdfunding leverages us to make it possible. Where we
do need to think beyond Indiegogo. You're definitely right about that.
Yeah. It has to be a sustainable business.
AdamEveryday.com, just to get directly to my YouTube channel, I know of all these things. I listed these things out. I'm not saying I can crack the market. If I was familiar with foreign publishers and I had a list of my go-to guys, it's just research, but it's also research we can share. Vaughn, have you seen yet? We listed video channels in the Delta group of like 15 or so channels that like to do interviews for COMICSGATE. Just look at COMICSGATE and CG Delta. I'll resend the link again. But it's like 15 channels. I'm not even on the list. And there's many more than that. But there's like the Red Gaze, and there's Edwin Boyette's show, and even the Doug show. And,
yeah, man, it's like we accidentally formed a network that people can be like, what channel do I feel like watching tonight?
Well, actually, it shouldn't be accidentally forming a network. We should be taking, and I've thought of this before, but now that I'm producing content too, there's other guys producing content, we should create a channel that's off YouTube. We need to do that too, because we can't just depend only on YouTube. We could create an app that maybe would just stream our video shows. I'm sure it already exists, like an app like that would be easy to do, like a COMICSGATE app. But it's like you can have Ethan Van Sciver, and you may not like it as much, but there are like other guys other than Ethan. But we also could do different formats when we're talking about stuff. It's like, oh, you know what? There isn't a new Ethan video. Well, who are these other guys making videos? And oh, you know what? Vaughn was on Ethan's show. I liked them on Ethan's show. Adam was on Ethan's show. Wes was on there. Oh, they were also on this other COMICSGATE Tonight show, and this John Malin has a show, and then you start to capture the person separate from just like desperately hoping that YouTube is going to share our stuff. And it's even better because YouTube doesn't appreciate channels doing long live streams. And it's fine that they don't and that they suppress your channels, and they do that, whatever. But let's at least then tell our guys, look, you don't have to go to YouTube. Why don't you get the COMICSGATE app or something like that and let it flow, let it all come in through that person's app, let them get notifications. and they watch whatever the hell they want to watch. And we can start to form. We already do all this programming. It's kind of nuts. But if we start to do this research, and we just, by research, I mean, like I saw another guy like, hey, did you see the list? And he was like, oh, yeah, that's cool. Let me check that out. I'm like, also, if you've been on other shows, just add the names. Please do add. You know, it's like the tip jar. You just add a little bit to it. If you know of someone, add it to the list, you know, as best as you can. And it's that kind of collaboration that, you know what, we can use our experience, we can use some of our contacts, some of our friends, have a lot of fun at the same time that we really build something else. Yeah. And that is more is we've got to replace these guys. We got to go head to head with them. You've seen it, some of the work and Richard Meyer's new Jawbreakers book.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, it's exceptional. It's super tight.
It looks really, really good.
Really good. Those artists work for money. There's more guys. They're ready to do more stuff.
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to do is we need to get into more places and not just be only about Indiegogo. It doesn't mean that all these places are going to throw riches on us or anything like that. And it doesn't mean that we don't ship our Indiegogo crowdfunded fans first. We take care of those guys, number one. But we can add a number 2 and a number 3. There's nothing wrong with having a Japanese version of Monster MD. Nothing wrong at all.
No, awesome. That would be the dream.
Or the good land. You know, it doesn't have, and it doesn't have to be a dream. But we got to do some research. We got to collaborate, and when we have time, we can all add to a list. And you know what? Like for example, one of the things I realized earlier was, hey, we can have a Twitter group where we put in like 20 of these YouTube channels that are interview, and I can message them in a group and say, hey guys, look, when we have a campaign, we'd like to send you a campaign. Let's say it's Monster MD 2 or College of the Dead 3 or whatever it's going to be, or The Good Land. And if anybody would like to book us for a show, like any of you 15 guys here, we're basically just pitching them by throwing it into a Twitter group. Mm-hmm. How much work is that? And what kind of a favor is that to any of us to really help us move along, like getting more shows going and stuff?
That's what I thought coming into COMICSGATE, you know, fairly recently. That's what I thought IndieCron was. But I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you're talking about kind of centralizing our efforts.
Yeah, I talked to the IndieCron guys about this months ago, and the thing is, it's not really a business, and neither is what I'm suggesting.
Yeah,
I'm just kind of. They're awesome people and they help sell books. It's just there's just so much that they can do. And some of this is just being strategic and organized. And I've had some ideas before, and I like to organize. I like to organize stuff like this, and I'm going to benefit from it too. We're all going to benefit. We're all going to be able to collaborate more, and we will take this stuff to the next level. But the thing is, we're not going to get to a next level if we don't identify like what the goal is. The goal ultimately is we found the problem. We started making our own books. It's obviously 1 and 2. Ultimately, we want to go head to head and wipe these guys off the planet in a positive, merit-based, competitive, non-violent way. Just write books. Do care? You don't care. We're going to sell our stuff. We're going to destroy you guys in the marketplace.
We'll be like the Care Bears, but with capitalism. We're like capitalism bears, and we'll like go capitalism bears stare, and then this capitalism will just shoot out of our tummies. These green dollar bill signs will just shoot out of our tummies, and they'll hit them, and they'll go and they'll disappear,
and that's how we got it. Absolutely,
that's the story of COMICSGATE, little Timmy.
And that's how we saved the planet. Well, that's absolutely. Right. The energy's there. And that's what we're going to do. But I don't know. I'm pitching my videos, but I care so much about these subjects. I wrote that stuff. You know, I put it together. You'll see. There's some common sense in there. We'll find more, and you guys can sub if you haven't subbed yet. We will find more. We'll find more support from this. Everybody else wants to do the same sort of thing, and we're just going to keep putting out great books and promoting them. And we'll do more of these shows. And we should, guys, when you get a chance, look back at the format, see what you think of the format of this. Obviously, we could do some different things with it. And you know what? I'll stop the live broadcast. So we'll say goodnight and thanks to everybody who's watched. and I'm sure more people watch us in the future. This one was a lot of fun, and we will wrap it up, and then we will just stop the broadcast, and I will say good night to you guys in private, and thank you personally.
Thank you so
Thanks,
much.
Adam.